In a world of remakes and remasters,
Are we playing for keeps?
what was once sacred and cool has now soured and become lame.
Red.
Gone are the days of Pogs and Cowabunga. Now is the reign of slurp juice and dabs. Kids these days don't even know how bad they've got it. Now it's up to the best generation to rise to the occasion and make a show that dares to go where a lot of other nerdy shows have already gone quite a bit. That's right. They're going to talk about it a lot.
Hello and welcome to the show, everybody. This is Best Gen, where nerds complain about nerdy things. It's called Best Gen because we all are roughly from the same generation, and we happen to think that it's the best one. Not because, we as people are better than you, but because our movies and entertainment certainly were. So strap on in and prepare to wax nostalgic as we reminisce upon the days of yore, while simultaneously complaining about the sheer garbage, gross, dumb stuff that's coming out of woke Hollywood right now. How's everybody doing?
Doing well.
Doing good. About to sneeze, so sorry.
Well, I made the mistake of taking a bite of my dinner right before I was supposed to go live.
good.
And I was like, oh shoot! I for some reason I thought the intro goes longer, and I've got like a piece of corn stuck in my throat as I was doing the whole intro. But it came
I like
out
the
good.
intro because there's Pogs, and that was like, wow, who remembers Pogs?
Oh, I wish Pogs were still a thing. You know what? What's great though is I lived in Mexico for 2 years, and Pogs are a thing in Mexico.
Like still, like in the
Yeah,
current era? What?
yeah. No, like you buy a pack of cookies, it comes with a Pog.
Nice.
So Mexico's great.
Slammers.
Yeah.
The Angry Mexico pieced out during the intro, so hopefully he'll come back. But he can
I
confirm.
know. Where's my
Yeah,
cat
confirm.
sighting?
It
Apparently
didn't used to be the case, but it is now. Where as soon as you start the stream, and I've got the video pulled up on the side, everything slows way down. I must have a really terrible connection, even though it used to be just fine. I used to be able to watch and do it, and so I have no idea when the intro is going to end anymore.
Yeah.
It's skipping over here, and it's not going over here, and I'm like, ah.
Right.
Yeah, I used to have that problem too because my Wi-Fi was on the fritz for a while, but I installed a new mesh network, and now it's been fantastic since then. So
Yeah, I probably had to do
Yeah.
something with it, but maybe once I get into the new place.
yeah,
Fancy,
Definitely.
fancy.
nice.
Apparently, the Prophet is streaming on the White Cloaks channel right now.
Yeah, should we tell him to come over? I
He'll
don't
join
know if
us
he knows what
eventually.
time
Now
it is.
let him get his rants out. There's so much to talk about, and we'll probably talk about the other two dumb shows before we get into the Wheel of Time anyway. So he's got some time.
Yep.
There we go. And the Angry Mex is in the house
Get him! Ah!
in the most comfy looking robe ever. I love that you sport that all the time.
Oh yeah.
Hell yeah, brother.
Almost look as comfy
yeah.
as your cat behind you.
Almost.
I
Can
like
you-
how the cat has their own chair. Oh, wait, I don't
Yep.
remember. What's the cat's name?
Jean.
Jean. Oh, so it's a girl cat?
Yeah.
Okay. She's so
Mexa, can you confirm are Pogs still a thing in Mexico? You probably don't know the term Pogs, but
milk cat
like
things?
the little
Not from porn.
they're the little circle, just like pieces of like plastic cardboard that you get inside like cookies. You collect them, and you fight with them.
Oh,
Uh,
cookies?
Yeah, like you buy a pack of cookies
You
and it
get
comes
it
with.
instead of
Paletas?
cookies in America? What the?
No.
No. You buy a pack of cookies and it comes with a pog inside. Those little circle things, little toys.
I don't
Apparently,
know. We
you're
call in our country we call it tazos, and it's really
Tazos, yeah,
big.
That's just yeah.
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 No,
Yeah,
they're-
it's really
see,
big
they're,
in Mexico.
they're big in Mexico. If you want pogs back, go to Mexico. That's what I
But they
keep
don't.
saying.
They don't
Yes.
come in cookies though. They come in sabritas, in chips.
Yeah. They
No,
sometimes
some
come
cookies
in
are good.
cookies too.
Uh,
I
Those
bought
are
a
the
lot.
little
I
snack
bought a
things,
lot of
right?
cookies that had pogs in them when I was down there, man.
Maybe when they became really big and they were everywhere.
It was when
Yeah.
Angry Birds was a thing.
Pokemon or
They had a line
Yeah,
of
yeah,
Angry
Angry-
Bird
probably,
pogs
yeah.
that had like
Yeah.
notches in the side, so you could like build stuff out of them too. It was pretty great.
That's fun.
No,
I'm at the right age for
old
pogs to have gone
school-
through me, but like I seem to mostly have missed them for some reason.
They were kind of a
just never
thing
were
in the
somewhere around me.
90s, and people would have like POG tournaments. And
Oh,
I
yeah,
remember my
I-
brother
I'm
was
aware of
really
them.
into them.
I was born in '89. I lived through the entirety of the '90s, but
I
yeah,
was more into
You're just
Yu-Gi-Oh!
a
to be honest.
baby.
Well, that's like
We're
that's like
80s
half of
kids.
that's like half of the intro though. Are we playing for keeps? That was
I'm
fun, man.
technically an '80s kid. Technically.
same
I only
here.
saw the last 12 days of the '80s, but I
Oh
am
goodness,
technically.
David, you and David both. You keep pretending like you're 80s kids. You're literally born
I was gonna say,
in
Alan's younger than
89
me.
in
Yeah.
December 33rd.
88. Thank you very much. I had 2.5 years in the
I
80s.
was an 80s baby.
But yeah, pogs were
If
great.
there
I
you
had,
go,
like, a
Mark
big-
Clark.
I had a big like holographic dinosaur pog, like the big ones, the slammers or whatever.
Yeah.
That was my pride and joy. That was awesome.
Yep.
Where did those
Tazos.
came in your country? Like those came in my country. Those came in the big cheap bags. Like the big party.
I don't remember
Cheese
how
rack.
we got them. I think
No, you had to.
What?
So they didn't come in things. You had to
Yeah.
buy them yourself. Like they were just sold as a thing.
yeah, they were really cheap, like
Yeah.
a couple cents, 10 cents for a pog or something, or a pack.
That
of
is the entire purpose. It was a marketing campaign.
yeah.
To get you to buy more chips. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mark Clark.
It didn't work. Like a
They,
lot
they
of
might
people
have
got
stuck
into
around
chips.
longer if they did that.
Mark
in
Clark's
America.
definitely right. If you still pooped in a diaper, then you're not an 80s baby.
During the '80s. Well, it's not like you can claim any differently, so
I never have. I'm a 90s
Well,
boy.
See, but it
When
helped that
were
our
you
parents
born?
were always blasting the '80s music, so I still feel
Yeah.
nostalgic for
See,
that.
I actually grew up on a lot of '60s and '70s music, so
Yeah, that's
Yeah, same.
I grew up in 90s, 20s music, Dixieland jazz.
I love that stuff too. I listen
Yeah.
to that all the time.
I listened about just about anything but country.
I play the spoons.
Yeah, there you go.
The washboard and the spoons.
Holy
You're
moly!
making me feel old, dude. Like I'm an old lady.
You were all in the 80s.
I was born in 1981, guys.
Yeah, there you go.
Nice. Yeah.
Mhm.
I was gonna say,
Dude, but
you were
that's-
calling me you were calling me a baby, but I'm pretty sure I'm older than Alan and Mexa. So
That's the point.
I
of
mean,
the
that's
show.
that's
we
not
we all
saying
technically
much.
actually come from different generations, but we come together as one and acknowledge that movies used to be better, and now
I was
they're
gonna say
crap.
all of us actually, all of the ones younger than me were all of millennials, but I think you do cross over into Gen X there, Lady Bellfire,
A
right?
little bit, yeah, I know. I mean,
Yeah.
like I'm
it's like
technically the first
84,
class
85.
of like millennials because I graduated
Oh, are
high
you?
school in 2000.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm like the very start of that.
I'm
But
'Cause I got a brother that was
technically
born in '84,
Z.
and he's like really close to the end. Oh, and you're actually Z, huh, Mexa?
Kinda
see,
Yeah,
barely.
he's our young soul.
babies.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So
It's
cute.
okay.
We got a just barely skating in as a millennial and a just barely skating out as a millennial.
I'm a Gen Xer in at heart, and that's
Yeah.
I identify as a Gen Xer. Okay.
Yeah, my brother's kind of similar. He what is it? I guess they call them Zillennials or whatever, because no, it's not Zillennials, it's Xennials. Because Zillennials are the ones closer to Mexa. But yeah,
I'm not proud of millennials. I don't identify with them. David has been
millennials
voted
got a
the
bad rap.
oldest,
People were calling
apparently.
things millennial problems that were actually Gen Z problems for a long time.
Rather be
it's
a
the-
millennial than
It's
a
the
Gen Z
attitude. It's the
nowadays.
attitude for me that I don't appreciate.
And again, I still maintain that was more of a Gen Z thing than an actual millennial thing, because a lot of times when everyone was crapping on millennials were the ones that were like entering the workforce and actually working, not the ones that were saying, "Oh, I don't want to work and I'm going to be at my," you know.
People were shitting on the millennials when millennials were fucking 35. You're like, millennial high schoolers are eating Tide Pods, and I'm sitting here like, what the fuck kind of millennial do you know? Every millennial I know has a fucking mortgage. Like,
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if all the millennials have mortgages, because we did get caught by enough of us not being able to get into the market. I'm just barely getting to a mortgage now myself.
I get you.
Oh, and we lost the Z.
He's back.
We lost our millennial.
Oh,
Oh,
no,
no.
now he's not. Anyway, we got a lot to talk about tonight. Not just the waxing nostalgic, but we do have to do some of the complaining nostalgic, right? Is that the term you tried to coin, Jared?
It might have been. I don't know.
Nostalgia.
I
It
like
doesn't
that.
work. It doesn't work. Mark Clark paid off his house last fall. That is incredible.
That's awesome.
That's huge. That's awesome.
Congratulations.
Wow.
That is so
That's big.
awesome.
I still have quite a few years in front of me on that, or quite a few channel members. If you want to support me paying off my mortgage and being able to make these videos and my devoid of logic videos, which I know are coming slowly, but I don't have time. If you want to support me and help me make them faster, you can become a channel member. It's only 99 cents. You get access to emojis and these wonderful new whatever they're called, the identifiers of how long you've been a member. What's the badges? Badges, that's the word. It's a lot of fun. It really helps me out. If you want to support me more, you can go over to Patreon and give me more money, and then I can make more videos.
And you get more of that money, you know.
I get a bigger percentage because YouTube takes half. It's insane.
Half? Like,
Funny.
I heard it was 35, but that's
Maybe they changed it. Did they
yeah.
just change it then? Because it used to be half.
I don't know. I heard that from like some of the guys that do like money stuff for like Chris Gore and stuff, and they were like, "Yeah, they gave me the rundown on like monetization and stuff," and I'm just like,
It used to be
I
like
heard
40%.
a third.
If they've dropped
like
it, then
3 years ago, I think they've actually raised it to
They'd
half.
probably raise it if anything.
Yeah,
right.
If
So
they
it's probably half now, but it
if
used to
they
be a
lower
third.
it, I'll put more tiers on the YouTube membership because it's obviously more convenient than going to a second party, you know. But
yeah,
I'd rather go through a second party, but that's just me.
yeah.
I've had some censorship drama, but hey,
yeah.
we got a lot to talk about. So what's up first, guys?
Oh boy! Well, we've got the Wheel of Time and we've got Ahsoka, both ending this in the same week and premiering. We've got Loki. So much fun stuff to talk about, guys. All right, let's get into Ahsoka. I have not been watching the show. I watched the first episode, couldn't take it anymore. But unfortunately, some of my guests are still watching the show, and are soulless Star Wars defenders. So
I'll show for Star Wars.
I will say though,
No worries. I also saw it. I also watched it, so I'm not gonna chill for it. So don't worry about it.
I watched the fight scene between Ahsoka and what's the villain's name? Madeline?
Balin.
No, the girl.
Oh, I don't know her
Shin.
name.
Shin Hati.
No,
It's like Megan.
Morgan.
Yeah.
Megan.
Totally.
I watched the fight scene between Ahsoka and Megan, and it was the most embarrassing thing I've ever seen in my life.
Say the rematch of the one that you already hated to begin with from Mandalorian.
I'll give my 2 cents, and then you can talk. You can try and redeem the show. But that fight scene was so garbage.
Wait, Ahsoka and Megan?
It's
Morgan.
Morgan.
It's Morgan.
The villain's name is Morgan.
Sorry, I know I'm late, but you know,
Morgan Lee Fay.
I was busy raging.
I know. We were talking
I'm ready for you, dude. Like, they got me,
You're primed. You're
Let the
primed.
hate flow through you.
Lathered up, ready to run.
Okay.
Frothing is Alex.
Yeah. We'll put you guys full front stage in a bit. But we gotta quickly talk Ahsoka first. Yeah. So I watched the fight scene between Ahsoka and Morgan, and I literally have not watched since episode 1. But that fight scene is so embarrassing. I don't know how anyone can say that this show is interesting. Like,
because there's something other than just that one fight scene.
Okay,
and I thought that fight scene
was probably one of the worst.
Okay,
worst
David,
fight scenes.
How on earth can you say that fight scene was good? Rosario. Okay, let me get my piece first.
Go ahead.
Rosario Dawson is so slow. You can literally see her counting her steps. She's like, okay, this and this. And like she literally pauses in between strokes.
8.
It's so bad. And she has 2 freaking lightsabers, but the choreography is so garbage. I watched it 6 times, okay? There is not a single moment where she uses her 2 swords like someone with 2 swords should. It's always swing with both of them at the same angle at the same time, or do one and just hold my arm down and not do anything with the second.
There were occasionally some swing one and then swing another.
Yeah, occasionally there's this, and then once it's already in guard, she hits it with the other lightsaber, and you're like, this is asinine. It is so garbage. I don't know how you could, David, like that fight scene. And it is so slow. Apart from being bad choreography, it's like they're moving through molasses. Rosario Dawson should never
Are you sure
work
you watched
again.
the one from this episode? Because
Yes.
this one was really fast.
It was not, David.
Okay.
This one was better.
Go watch the Duel of the Fates and then watch this, and you were like, oh, this is filth.
It's also impossible to compare anybody to Ray Park because Ray Park is freaking amazing.
Yeah, he is.
They also
Get us stop! It's not that hard.
And also you got more time and energy that you could dedicate to a movie than you can to a TV show that they're
Are we talking about the Thrawn fight scene? Like, I want to.
What does Thrawn look like? Blue Elon Musk. I'm calling him Blue Elon.
Yeah,
now.
he kind of did.
Yeah.
They brought in the Witches of Dathomir. Wow.
Which fight scene? Is this the Thrawn fight scene? I'm trying to find.
No, we're
No,
talking about the Ahsoka Morgan fight scene still.
Okay.
Ahsoka versus Morgan Elsbeth at the end of Ahsoka, because they had fought already once in Mandalorian. But go ahead and respond what you can, David. And I know you'll probably have some thoughts overall on the thing. Nobody's going to be surprised by my take on it. So
I know, right? No, I agree that some of the fight scenes earlier in the series and in other series especially have been very slow and not very action packed. But I thought this one was pretty good. Yes, there's still flaws. There's always flaws in any sword fight, especially coming from Star Wars. But I think this one was one of the better fights. I thought it was fast. There was a lot of reposting. There was a lot of there was not a whole lot of swinging for nothing or swinging for the opponent's sword. They were all.
What do you call this? 2 lightsabers.
I understand.
That's called swinging for nothing, David.
No, swinging for nothing is swinging not at the person.
Exactly. Swinging,
Whoa.
making a swing that if the lightsaber wasn't there, it wouldn't hit anything. They were all aimed on target for the most part. Of course,
they put the lightsaber there, right?
That's Star Wars,
Yeah.
I thought it was really good. There was lots of reposting. There was a lot of blocking and then immediately twisting out of. There wasn't a lot of stupid holding your bind for no stupid reason.
You don't want to share clips, right?
What?
I was going to say we can pull this up because I'm ready to go.
I'm watching this
Okay.
dude, man. I get what you're saying, but there's some really weird pauses to do twirlies.
Yeah,
there are.
Share your screen.
Yeah.
It's not a perfect one. I would also say this is nowhere near the best fight of the season in any way, shape, or form. There are much better fights in this season.
Yeah,
so I'm not going to pretend like it's the best, but it's
like I only stopped at this part because it's like this is exactly what TechMix was talking about, because there's like a definite like pause to do stuff. Like
Yeah.
Look at that.
Yeah.
She's
I
like,
mean,
oh,
whoa.
the other person isn't ready yet.
Like that.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not good.
She's just too old to be Ashoka. She looks like, I mean, I'm sorry.
That's like okay, so but I get what you're saying. There's some speedy parts in there, but that should have been a cut. Let's retry and do that because there was hesitation in both of them, right? It wasn't smooth, but I get what you're saying. There is some swordplay happening, but there is a lot of like that. Now, that being said, I haven't seen the rest of the show, so I don't know. So
sort of to David's point too. It's got the sort of stuff that like is honestly a pretty common issues for like Hollywood fight scenes that are not done by actual professionals. You do so it's one of those things. I was talking to my brother about it earlier because there was something else that it was where it's like, you know what, hey, when they do better than this, props to them, and it's awesome, and it stands out that it's really cool. When they do about this level, it's kind of what I expect. So I'm not mad at it, but it's also not. It's not an impressive thing, so I can't like defend that it's amazing. But it's nothing new.
Doing that though, there was a time in Hollywood where if you wanted to be an actor, there was an expectation that you had some level of physical acting capability.
Actors
there were conversations that you actually had to learn to fence if you were going to be Zorro.
Fred Astaire, man.
The idea that we can't expect them to do better than this is embarrassing. Like it used to be when you went to an acting academy, there were classes on sword fighting because there was an expectation that you would have that skill and look decent at it. And what's happened is as the bar has fallen, and I'm going to say it, as the profession has become more feminized, there is less and less expectation of you being able to physically do something. That's why something like Morfydd Clark as Galadriel is a thing, and why it looks fucking retarded when she tries to fucking fight 5 Numenorians at the same time. Rosario Dawson 20 years ago would have no business in this role. She flat out does not have what she needs to have on her resume to do this role. But because our expectations have fallen so far, she's now put into this position as a lead actress, and it's embarrassing.
Look at this move. Just look. Boom. She strikes with one lightsaber and then holds her hand out so her lightsaber can get chopped.
Like it's
what you should be doing: block, stab, block. You have 2 lightsabers. You're fighting someone with a massive handicap. You can block their sword and then stab them.
Yeah, it would be a take in and then like stab in. And it's funny because I've taken theatrical fighting, like sword fighting, like some rudimentary classes. And it's like a problem you have when you're doing that is that you're doing choreography. So you aim for the blade of the other person because you're not actually trying to hit them.
Yes.
And that can look really, really bad on camera if you're at the wrong angle.
Here's a prime example of what you just said too. And I see the super chat. I will get to it in a second, but I'm pissed off. Okay. Morgan falls to the floor, and then before Ahsoka even goes to strike, holds up her blade to block. And rather than hitting literally anywhere else, guess what Ahsoka does?
Yeah, this one did bother me too.
What? You could have hit her hand! She's literally just sitting there like this! And it's exactly what you said. They have no idea what they're doing, so they're aiming for each other's swords. This is embarrassing.
I don't know. I still think that that this is one of those things that, while it's not anything that I can write home about and say, oh, it was really amazing that they did, it was passable for me. And I also look at, like, again, if we're trying to compare to other properties of things that we do still like anyway.
Yeah, stop pointing to the low bar and saying, hey, look, this one's a little bit higher.
What I'm saying is, like, you look at something like the original trilogy, and not even just for the style and the way that Lucas wanted them to be fighting at the time, which he wanted them to have heavier sabers, but they literally did a lot more swinging for the saber and that sort of stuff in the original Star Wars. And I'm not saying that to tear down the original Star Wars. I'm just saying that, like, because we like the original Star Wars, that doesn't matter to us. For me, I like the rest of it enough that this doesn't matter to me, that the fighting is not up to the par of some of the professionals that we've sometimes seen. You know,
it was 50 years ago. Are we celebrating the fact that Rosario Dawson is cast because in Shakespeare's day they didn't have women playing roles, so they just had men in dresses? Like,
no, not at all.
We
because
expect the profession to advance and become more impressive over time.
True, theoretically, but
even then, compare this. Look, Grant, if you compare it to not The Force Awakens, A New Hope. Yes, the fight scene in A New Hope is pretty bad. They were literally carrying 50-pound weights. Okay, and then the next movie,
Return of the Jedi,
and then the next movie, they fixed it. They got lighter lightsabers, and the fight scene choreography in The Empire Strikes Back is literally my favorite lightsaber fight of all time. It's better than Duel of the Fates.
Yeah, it
is amazing, and I'm sure if you like zoomed in on a microscope, you could find a couple. No. You could find a couple of moves where they're like, okay, maybe they're aiming for the swords, but it's not every single move.
I think it's the majority of the moves, and I think that you are also glossing over the moves in this one that are good, that are fine, you know, because you're finding the ones that you don't like. You know,
well, I think the real thing with this is that we could forgive the crappy lightsaber fights in the first movie because the story's just so good. We could just okay, this is dumb.
Yeah, that is the point that Jared's making. Yeah,
and to me, I still like the story of what's going on in the Ahsoka show. I think the story in the Ahsoka show is good. I won't say it's at original A New Hope level. No, not that. It's not that.
Does it follow the Clone Wars story?
Here's another. It's a sequel to Clone Wars, but more specifically Rebels. I know. Rebels. I hear you. Okay, but here's a better example. The Duel of the Fates definitely has a lot of flaws. There are moments where they're just swinging in the air, okay, but they've practiced it for so long that you don't notice. Okay, when their motions are fluid, you aren't going to see these kinds of mistakes when you can tell that these people are masters of their crafts. So there are tons of moments in the Duel of the Fates that you can point out and say that is ridiculous. No one would do that. Okay. And I would say equally to this fight scene in Ahsoka. The problem is it looks good in Duel of the Fates because they practice the hell out of it. And this, it looks like you can see them. Oh, wait. Oh,
that's what I was driving at earlier. Is that movie quality, because you have more time and more money that you can put into doing the training that's necessary for it. I think they should, but
it was this could have been a movie. It was their choice to make a TV show. That's not an argument.
I've watched this through now 2 or 3 times. The only thing I can think of right now is one. There's too much kicking because you have lightsabers. Cut the leg off. Done. Yeah. There's too much kicking. So I see what you guys are trying to say, that it is some points it's a little faster, but the faster points are where they're intentionally hitting each other's lightsabers, and then there's a lot of weird deliberate turns.
So many spins.
And I'm not saying it might be better than I mean, I think it might be better than some of the other stuff, but all I can picture is this is Ahsoka. If Anakin was standing on the other side of her, she'd be in 15 pieces right now.
Oh no, she fights Anakin. She fights him.
So I get what you're saying a little bit, but it's
go watch the scene where she fights Anakin, and it's even worse because you can see that Hayden Christensen is good. Fight? Yeah, she fights an ethereal Anakin. It's like her cave scene, right?
Vision Quest, yeah.
And that one is worse than this one because Hayden Christensen looks amazing. And you see him going shoom, 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 and he's practicing. And you're like, wow. Hayden Christensen looks. He has been practicing how to use a lightsaber, and then every time he goes to hit Ahsoka, she does the same thing where she waits for her moves, and it looks even worse.
I will also say go ahead.
Mark Clark, thank you so much for the $9.99. You've got to remember that David's age. Because of David's age, it all goes by so fast for him, so he doesn't catch the mistakes. Thank you. That's the perfect comment. I definitely should have read that sooner.
Yep.
I also think too, like for me, and I know a lot of you guys did too. I lived through so many people hating on the prequels for so long that I'm like, and we're of the right age to have appreciated them and have come around to the point where overall there's a lot of love for the prequels, and I just know that the new stuff is unfairly judged and lasered in on in ways that I don't think is fair, I suppose. And
I disagree.
That is still enjoyable stuff there, because there's tons of stuff that I think are legitimate complaints about the prequels, and yet we know that we love them because they're what we grew up on. And so I don't know.
No, absolutely not. Nobody is ever going to say the prequels are great. The prequels were middling at best.
I love the prequels. I mean, Darth Maul is my man, but they're trash.
They're bad. Yeah. You can enjoy something. And that's the thing. You can enjoy something that's bad.
Right. Are we talking mini Ahsoka versus Anakin fight? Is that the fight?
No, there's a full one. Although mini Ahsoka does much better. Mini Ahsoka actually does a really good job.
I don't expect her to. I mean, she does okay. But, like, she does what she needs to do.
Yeah, especially where you get to her where she's supposed to be in the Siege of Mandalore, where she's flipping around. That was pretty good.
I have no problem with.
Death Knight brings up an interesting point. Kicking is a viable strategy in swordplay. And yes, I do have experience with martial arts. I did Taekwondo, which is kind of useless for several years, and recently.
But the problem, so I'm not saying it's not, but you have lightsabers involved, and when you slowly kick at somebody,
that's the problem.
In front of them, all they have to do is do that, and your leg is gone.
Yeah,
I get.
It's the choreography again. Kicking is very viable. But this kicking is not.
The problem with the kick I'm talking about, at least the one, is the witch tries to kick Ahsoka, and Ahsoka's lightsaber is literally like this, and she kicks under the lightsaber.
Your camera's off if you're trying to show anything.
Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. I was watching So she's kicking her chest. Ahsoka's lightsaber is right here.
Yeah.
All she's got to do is turn her lightsaber a little bit, and she loses. It's just It's a choreography problem. And it's
and to me, choreography is not going to keep me from enjoying it.
Force pushing is also a viable thing, and we're not doing any of that. At least
you could argue, because there's several of those kicks that don't really connect. That those are forced kicks.
I don't want to argue that, because that's not what the show is trying to portray. I don't think so.
maybe it was, because there's actually a couple times where they do seem to be doing that, and I've seen it pointed out that it's kind of similar to how in Return of the Jedi, Luke has a couple of kicks that don't connect at all, and that wasn't really their intention, but people have said, "Oh no, it's a force kick."
I don't. I'm not a fan of that in Return of the Jedi either. I don't like when the audience has to make up for mistakes.
And see, I'm enough of a Star Wars shill that I'm like,
I get that too.
For me, I'm going to connect to saying, hey, you know what? I'm going to buy into this universe as it is. You know, with what I get, and I'm going to buy into it and run with what it is, even if I might have wished it went a different way or otherwise. Because that definitely plays in with some of the things that go on with this episode in particular. And I don't know how David's feeling about this, but one of the things that I'm sure all of you would hate is Sabine finally she uses the Force and pulls the lightsaber to her, and then she's able to push Ezra to help him jump a really far distance. Just kind of call back to them.
Become Force sensitive.
Don't care. I don't care.
Yeah.
All right. Well.
So I mean, we could talk about it, but
hold on. Yeah. I want to talk about me for a second. Yes, I've done. David and I both did Taekwondo for several. Was it like 6 years?
Something
maybe
like
that.
We
5 or
were
6.
Not very consistent at it though.
I was
for a while. It was once a week, and then we skipped several weeks.
But Taekwondo is good exercise. It is not very applicable in any real life situation whatsoever. It teaches you how to kick really well. Mm-hmm. It doesn't teach you how to fight.
It teaches you the conservation of momentum and that sort of thing. But
more recently, though,
self-defense. No,
I've done a whole lot of jujitsu, which is it is definitely the most relevant martial art to self-defense.
Yeah, for sure.
Lots of rolls, lots of things like that.
Throws, I don't have any experience with martial arts, and I'm too fat and old too. So, but that's not my point. My point is I know it's viable. Just do some good choreography.
It's also a balance with you balance that out with the fact that it's a fantasy weapon, and then like you were saying, it's choreography. It's like Lady Balefire was talking about how it looks really terrible, but that's also how you're supposed to be doing it to keep yourself safe. As
my point is did they do this all in one cut? Because some of this there's one take. There's points where you go, if you're a director, it's like, look, that looked a little awkward. Let's do it. Let's go back to one. Let's do it again. and then you edit the good parts out of it. Like, it's like, did they make them try and get this in one shot? Like, that's what it feels like. It's like there's and also look, teach them some things. Have them go to a camp to learn lightsaber fighting. That's what they used to do. Like, we've lost that in there where we had that golden age where like Keanu Reeves and all the Matrix people went to Kung Fu camp for a month, and all the people that are serious about using weaponry right go to these weapon training classes for weeks, and sword fighters go to get sword choreography. We're not. I don't think. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. I just don't feel like we're doing that anymore. We're just putting these actors and actresses in these situations, saying, "Here, Rosario Dawson, here's 2 lightsabers. Just do the best you can."
Yeah, no.
Well, they did put her through some training. You can see some behind the scenes stuff where she's done some training, so it's not none, but it's not very extensive. No,
it's this comment. There are plenty of women who would be able to do it better. The problem is we're not hiring those people because we're hiring specifically for diversity quotas.
I'll actually argue this point a little bit with Ahsoka. I definitely agree that happens in a lot of other places. In a lot of places, Ahsoka's one where there was a big fan casting push for her, and she does look the part. And I think that there is something to be said
fans are stupid sometimes, man. Fans are really stupid. I don't know who the heck was pushing for Rosario Dawson. They're retarded.
There's a huge fan casting push to cast Lizzo as Grendel. Okay?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
that's true.
No one was pushing for that.
Were we? Is this? Is the Anakin Ahsoka fight supposed to be? Is he trying to kill her?
It's a dream quest thing. It's like
she should be dead.
But you see how good he looks, and then how bad she looks. Well, it's embarrassing.
In context of the story, this is like a vision or a cave kind of thing that she's having, and he's saying, "Hey, I need to finish your training, live or die." And so he's training her.
He intentionally missed the kill shot.
Probably, yeah. That's the best.
The one thing that I'll say is they do it like 4 times. Is where for whatever reason they cross the lightsabers up top, and then the person swings down through and breaks the guard, forcing the lightsabers up and out.
Well,
and it's the dumbest thing I've ever seen.
What I'm talking about too, Alex, is she's like this, and he literally sweeps down, and instead of cutting her in 2. He hits her lightsabers away.
Yep. Yeah, we're talking about the same.
And so she's up here like this. He parries and goes up underneath, and instead of chung and dead, it's hit lightsaber. So, but if it's just it's one of those. I get that. Like, again, I haven't watched the show. If this is just a dream sequence or her fighting herself in her head, then I guess
or fighting his Force ghost in her head or something like that.
There is a phenomenal Mahler video on this scene.
See,
I would encourage everybody to watch it.
Mahler's great.
And for me, it all comes down to in the end, maybe the choreography wasn't the most amazing. That's not going to take away from me because the story was really. I enjoyed the story anyway. So the fights were not the most important thing for me. So they can be as crap as you want them to be, and it's fine. I don't care.
Yeah. So, I don't know. Choreography is important to me, and I've stopped. There's been a lot of
I'm not saying
TV
that it's
shows that I watched that I stopped watching. Like every once in a while, I look for like
something that does excel. That I'm even more excited when I do something that does go above and beyond. Right. But this isn't going to stop me from
every once in a while, I look for like a comfort, like police procedural, right? Just because I like.
Yeah, watching Law and Order is so comforting because you just know how it's going to end and you know what's going to happen. And Jack is going to get angry. Lenny is going to go like say some things and go. Yeah.
But there are a whole bunch of those that I've started and stopped watching because like their fighting was like the Blacklist. I was like, oh, this is a cool premise. And every time they got in a fight, it was just embarrassing. I was like, I can't keep watching this.
Yeah,
I don't know. And then again, you go back and you watch the original Star Trek, and you're like, oh yeah, this is totally fine.
Oh, honestly, choreography was better. It really was.
I don't know. With Kirk's like double over the head, like there was tons of that.
It's cheesy.
I showed my wife. It was cheesy and it's nostalgic, and that's okay. My point is that I can still enjoy even this cheesy. Maybe bad fighting because it's fun and it's fine, It doesn't stop me from liking it, but
and to be fair, to be fair, that is really what the cartoon series looked like. It was a bunch of like flippy kicks level of stupid flirting crap, and if they were going for that, like I don't know,
how
I
dare
hated
you
it,
besmirch the flippy kick?
So
all right,
I will say, okay,
flippy
so you guys kind of hate the Rebels, right? And one of the things you guys didn't like was the animation style. One of the things I know is
I didn't mind the animation style on Rebels. I really freaking hated the story. I hated Ezra and how they changed it. It's like the Clone Wars had like a sort of things where it was like, okay, it's an animation movie. There's some stuff or animation show, and there's stuff for kids there, but there's some adult themes there. I like how they looked at all the different what happened to the clone troopers, their like shortened lifestyles, how they like struggled to be individuals, how they had PTSD, and then you had like Rebels, and then you got stupid characters like Ezra, who was just really freaking annoying, and like Zed and stuff like that. And it's just like this is a television show for very young children.
Did you actually finish Rebels though, or did you just?
I did not, because I was watching
because the first season was a little kiddier. However, if you look at the first 3 seasons of Clone Wars, you get some real garbage in there.
Yeah, there's some weird stuff in that. Plus, there's the earlier thing where it was like they did like a mini movie or something like that, and it had the really hyper stylized like animation and stuff. I just enjoyed like the Clone Wars show.
Look, guys, the bar used to be so much lower.
Got so much better, and I think there is a lot of those same things where it's like, yes, there are some kiddie things, but there's a lot of adult storytelling once you get into Rebels. But my point is, the thing that I wanted to bring up is a lot of the complaints. One of the complaints that was pretty common was the lightsabers in Rebels tended to be really, really thin, and it was a very stylized look for it. Like they look super, super thin. There was a joke in the beginning of this episode where Ezra's on the ship and he's trying to put together a new lightsaber for himself, and he's like, "Oh no, that'll make the beam emitter too thin." And I'm like, that is a great joke for everybody who hated on Rebels' narrow lightsabers. So. I know nobody else here might have gotten that, but David might appreciate that.
Filoni
I loved it.
Dunking on himself?
Yeah, Filoni.
Yes, that's the thing. Is that's Filoni kind of dunking on himself.
Yeah,
that's fine.
So
I just don't want to wade. I just don't want to wade through the filth to pick out little teeny gems.
It's not so much though. It's all right.
Okay,
I mean,
so I want to read the synopsis.
Okay, really quickly,
first episode of this.
Okay, before you
go
do.
ahead.
Thanks so much for the 199, Mark Clark. I disagree, though. I would love them to cast Lizzo as Graendal, because then the show would just go. It would get rid of the show faster. And it would be funny to see, right? I already feel nothing for the Wheel of Time TV show, so just go for it and have a good time.
Voice changer too, like Bane, and be like, she have a mask, and be like, you're a cutie. Hello. It's like, okay, now we're rocking.
You think seduction is your ally, but I was born in it.
Look at my curves. La 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 la. It's like, oh my god, we've done it.
Okay,
her dress is just cut down the middle, so it's like, oh yeah, we're doing it now.
That is the one episode that I watched. Are you talking about Ahsoka episode 1?
Yeah, yes.
Yeah,
so
it's bad.
Reads Balin's skull. A former Jedi now working as a mercenary. Perfect. We have another Order 66 survivor. Lovely.
Yep.
And his apprentice, Shin Hati, assault a New Republic cruiser to rescue Morgan Elizabeth, who has previously been apprehended by Ahsoka Tano. Elsbeth informs Skrull that Ahsoka is searching for Grand Admiral Thrawn, who has been missing for years after he and Ezra Bridger were dragged to an unknown location by the Purga. Ahsoka and Hyang obtain a star map to the location of Thrawn and potentially Bridger before being informed of Elsbeth's escape.
They did a map to a person.
Star map to another person.
Yeah.
Oh god.
It's ever so slightly better, but about the same problem. Yeah. I don't know.
Okay.
No, it doesn't make any sense.
Finish it then.
So she can.
I also,
do they find
Prophet,
them
I am
using
so jealous. I want it. I want it now, but yes. Sorry, I saw you with that, and I got really excited.
What is that? That's
it's
cool.
my
Nightblood.
It's my Nightblood
opener.
This is a pro.
The rest of the people on here. A lot of the rest of the people on here know my story with this, but I was going to buy into the Year of Sanderson, and my wife was like, "Oh, that sounds like fun. Can I get that for you?" And I said, "Sure." and then she forgot to get it.
Never
so I'm
trust
having to
a
buy
woman.
it month to month.
Never
I
trust a
think
woman.
I think they're selling these by themselves here soon, though.
Yeah, they are.
So that's the thing. They sell the monthly boxes on his website. They're originally the intention was 2 weeks after the beginning of the month they would go on the website to be sold, but because of all of his like delays with shipping and the issues he was running into, it has basically been now it's the month afterwards. So I'm looking forward to this Tuesday is when I'm expecting those to go on sale on his website, and I will be immediately buying those things because that is the one that I really wanted the most.
It's actually pretty nice. It's actually pretty nice and metal. It's all metal. Like I'll have to do some. I got to start doing some Cosmere stuff on the channel, but I've actually been quite surprised with the boxes. There's there's some like glass coasters, and I'll get the coasters and show you. They're pretty good too.
Oh yeah,
there's a lot of really good stuff in them. But sorry,
this one's better than the book, to be honest.
This one's from the Defiant or the Titanic box.
Yeah, I got it. I got that too.
Yeah, like and I see your
that?
It's a spaceship.
It's a spaceship.
Oh, there's spaceships now. Oh, I missed that part.
It's
not in the Cosmere. It's a non-Cosmere novel, but it's a Skyward is a pretty solid series. Well, at least the first one is. I noticed that guy. I've got him out in the bookends there.
Well, Def Knight, we'll be here for you, giving you the play-by-play through. So
anyway,
I feel not wanting to.
Well, so
I think for Wheel of Time I would make an exception, and I would still be watching if it weren't for the YouTube channel. But it would still be just to tear it apart.
Right.
But I love Wheel of Time so much, you know.
We've been tearing apart Ahsoka's fight scenes and all that, but I want to get just a little bit of time for the that looks so beautiful.
Yeah, really nice.
We got to give David and I a chance to do a little bit of love that we have for it, even though you guys are all going to hate on that.
Okay. Proceed.
What do you think, David? How much did you hate Sabine pulling the lightsaber?
Well, the pulling the lightsaber was fine. I think pushing Ezra afterwards was a bit much. It's like, come on.
Yeah.
But no, I mean that was all right. I think the story overall for this season was fine. The stupid MacGuffin with the map to where Thrawn would be, it makes no sense, and I don't like that. But the overall plot of it was pretty good. I don't like how Thrawn looked. Like Lady Bellfire mentioned, it's kind of like a blue Elon Musk, right?
He's got a dad bod.
There's something weird with his, he's supposed to have like a chiseled jaw, like his voice was really good. He did a really good job with the voice, but his face just looked weird. I don't know. But I really did.
He was the one who was the voice actor for the character in Rebels as well. So.
Oh, okay.
That's why he does a great job.
I thought it was sorry. Bucket. Anyways, but
Lars Mikkelsen is the name. Yeah, it's Matt Mikkelsen's brother.
I didn't know Lars Mikkelsen voiced him in the show. I thought it was
the guy who read the books.
Yeah, I don't know. But anyways, I did like. I thought they did a really good job of. What are you doing?
Oh, I'm just moving people around. I don't know.
Okay.
Hollywood Squares.
I thought they did a pretty good job showing Thrawn's tactile decision making in this thing. Yep. Like he does a lot of things, in the books and in the TV shows that just to like test the waters and like see how people react. And he does that in this show, and I thought that was very well done.
This setting himself up with a couple of different layers so that when one thing fails the way that he didn't really want it to, but he's got like 3 or 4 other ways that
he's half expecting it to fail, and he learns something from those failures. So I think they did that really well in the show. There were several things though, especially in this last episode, that it didn't make a lot of sense. Tactic wise, like visual from what they were saying and what was actually happening on the screen did not match up, and that really bothered me. Like there's one point where he says, okay, so he went and delays them, and they said, okay, so there's no way that they can get here in time, but just in case we're going to do a full-on ground assault or whatever. And so he sends a ground assault, and it shows a hologram of them riding up and the ground assault going to meet them. And then all of a sudden there wasn't any ground assault going to meet them. They were just being bombarded from orbit.
They did also mention a different time the rainfire from above, whatever, you know.
Yeah, they did, but they specifically said, hey, you are the ground assault. You are going to go and fight them. And it showed them on the map. It showed little hexes on the map going towards them. And then all of a sudden, there wasn't anybody there. They were all still waiting in the temple. That didn't make any sense. And then once they got to the temple, they're fighting. And Ahsoka says, fall back, draw them out. And immediately cuts to all of the stormtroopers already out in the open. So what do you need to draw them out for? And then they don't fall back. They keep advancing and knock all the stormtroopers down. I'm like, why have that line? It doesn't make any sense. And it's not what you did.
Yep.
So forgive me for interjecting here, but
no, absolutely.
When are you guys going to start talking about the good parts of the show?
Well, I talked about how Thrawn was good. I liked those decisions that he was making.
But then you immediately went and railed on him for making bad decisions.
No, he made good decisions.
The show for showing it poorly.
The process of them showing what was happening didn't match up with what they said they were doing.
No.
So he didn't know where his forces were, and that makes him
I think it was an editing flop, honestly. It's ridiculous.
Did they have to fly up? Oh, sorry.
What?
Do they fly now?
Did they have to fly up? Did they have to go up? Sorry.
Although
I haven't watched the show. I should just shut up.
Here was a cool part, though, and that I don't know. I thought it was a cool part. So they do go through the ground assault crew. That they get into the temple and they go through them. And of course, then you have the witches chanting, and basically they resurrect the stormtroopers, and they come back as kind of zombie troopers, which is. You know, I thought it was a pretty cool effect.
You guys, if the witches are there, do we have Savage Opress and resurrected Darth Maul?
No, so we don't have because that all happened.
Resurrected again? I thought Obi-Wan killed him for good.
What the fuck is the point of zombies if you have lightsabers? You have a literal instant decapitation.
Alex, they're in Fallen Order, man. Just play the game.
And it was a fun nod to there was a fun novel that I believe is EU that's Extended Universe Legends now, called Death Troopers, where
they
were
basically Disney released it. It was not EU, it's like the new authorized EU. Like
I thought that was outside because it was a little bit more zombie-ish that doesn't seem to fit with the actual canon, but it was a good little bit where they basically were like, wait a second, we took these guys down. I mean, it's classic. It's your normal stuff. It's nothing too crazy, but I thought that was pretty good.
How many people survived getting stabbed by lightsabers this season?
Oh, just one.
I did.
Okay.
Yeah, it was in episode 1.
Rand was on his knees at the time, but I'm sorry, my bad.
I just can't physically. I've been just assaulted so many times. I can't physically bring myself to care about Star Wars anymore. It's so boring.
I will absolutely tell you that the ones in Obi-Wan I really don't like, and I think those ones are stupid. This one here, I wish they didn't do it. I think it doesn't really make sense, but they did enough that makes it where I'm like, I can see how this one could be different.
Are there a bunch of fake out deaths in this too?
Yeah.
Are there a ton?
Just the one, I think.
It's just one. Okay.
Yeah, just that one.
I am so over the fake out death genre.
Yeah.
That is happening these days.
It's not even done well. You know, it's literally just like, hey, we'll do this at the end of the episode, and then the very first scene in the next episode is, oops, it missed.
It's like not to. We're still on Star Wars, but not to get the cart before the horse. But all the people that should be dead in the show that shall not be named.
Yep.
That are just going to show up in season 3 is going to be astounding.
Yep.
Another cool thing that I thought was really fun. That's a good reference, and especially if you watch Clone Wars. We've had this tease through the season of Balin, the big bad guy from the beginning, looking for something more and looking for something. You know, something's calling to him. He mentioned in one of the episodes, a couple of episodes back, that he's trying to break the cycle of the Sith and the Jedi kind of fighting each other.
Yeah. He wants
and
to
at the very end,
the wheel. Oh wait, that's the wrong show.
Yeah, right. And what you see at the very end, he kind of ditches his apprentice and says, "All right, you go do your thing because you're obviously looking for power. Basically, you're a little bit more Sithy than I want to be. And I've raised you outside of the Jedi. I'm not trying to make you a Jedi, but I've got my own thing to do. You go do your thing. Here's where we part." And then at the very end, you get to see him, and he's gotten to this planet that they're on, and his goal seems to be tied with the Mortis gods, the father, the son, and the daughter. So you see him on this giant statue of the father that's pointing off into the distance, and then it zooms out and you see a statue of the son and a broken statue of the daughter, because if you watch Clone Wars, she died to resurrect Ahsoka or something like that. And you see her little Morai owlbird thing flying around Ahsoka. So Balin is there, and you can see that he's looking towards some sort of a beacon in the distance that people are surmising is going to be the mother. That, again, we have heard nothing from, except there was an EU book based on that.
I'm super glad the mystery box for next season is set up.
I know. Yeah. It sounds like next time it might be good.
This time, it will be different.
Please come back.
I promise I'll be good.
I don't care.
Had to use that one last time.
Good.
Yeah.
But I'm really intrigued to see where that goes, because if you look at the Mortis gods, there's the daughter that's the light side, the son that's the dark side. You have the father that's supposed to be the balance in between. But all things considered, he kind of does skew a little bit light side. And then so you imagine if there's a mother that maybe she would skew a little bit dark side, and but theoretically be balanced. And then being able to see how that might have contributed to, since the Witches of Dathomir came from this planet originally and got into our galaxy and landed on Dathomir and settled there, that maybe they kind of took a lot of their culture from that being the mother, So could be interesting to see where they go with that.
We have alternate dimensions, unlimited character resurrections, and Gray Jedi.
Yep.
But we don't have Secret Love Child's Wow, because that's like the
this sounds genuinely awful.
No, I'm not seeing any alternate dimension. Well, alternate universes. There is that alternate dimension that kind of pops in a weird way, but
it's not an alternate universe.
World between
perfect. I'm super glad that we can now subvert all of the stakes that used to matter with an alternate dimension thing.
Yeah.
That only happens in Rebels.
What is Luke Skywalker doing all this?
Drinking
That's a good question.
Trying to start his new Jedi Order.
Starting his new Jedi Order, theoretically dealing with all the other Imperial remnants somewhere, maybe, possibly, or looking up more stuff about the original Jedi Order, because he's still got a lot to learn about that. You see that a little bit in one of the video games. Play around with that idea.
Yeah. So when Ahsoka discovers what I'm assuming to be a galaxy-ending threat, I'm assuming she calls him.
No.
Maybe. Okay, perfect. Thanks. Just wanted to.
Spoiler: she ends up stranded in this other galaxy.
Yeah.
It's so boring, and no one's watching it, that even Hasbro refused to make toys for Ahsoka because no one would buy them.
The thing that I actually think was kind of interesting is Dave Filoni basically set up. He's got Balin, who most people, Balin and Shin, the bad people, the bad Jedis, who most people who actually watch the show think they're the most interesting and coolest parts of the show. Them over in this new galaxy, Ahsoka and Sabine over in this new galaxy, Thrawn and Ezra have gone back to the main galaxy, and they're going to do their thing. And Dave's basically set himself up so that he can tell his own stories in this new galaxy without worrying about what's going on in Rise of Skywalker or any of that other
he's
stuff.
ever cared about what continuity or canon in the first place anyway.
I mean, he cares about the movie continuity and canon.
No, he
doesn't.
Yeah, as much as George ever did, who would break his own canon.
I don't know.
I don't care what George did in the prequels, or really, it was bad when George did it too.
Yeah.
So again, it can be bad when George did it, but we can accept it and love it anyway because it's Star Wars and we love it. But when somebody else does it,
it was good.
We knock it when it's bad. We knock it when it's George does it too.
Yeah, but I hear a lot more criticism against the non-George stuff than I do against the George stuff.
Because the non-George stuff is new, and that's what people are talking about.
Also, because the volume of new stuff, non-George stuff, is just so high.
Bad.
Why do they keep making this stuff? I don't understand. It's like, how is the Book of Boba Fett different from the Mandalorian? How is it different from Ashoka? They're all the same.
It literally turned into the Mandalorian show.
Yeah, the Book of Boba Fett was embarrassing, and I'm so bummed by that, because the episode that we had Boba Fett in the second season of Mandalorian was awesome, and then the show was not. So
was it awesome?
I'll tell you what the difference is. Mandalorian was at least good, and Book of Boba Fett was not.
I'll tell you what.
Mandalorian at its best was Walker, Texas Ranger in space. Mandalorian at worst was one of the worst shows on television. Like
still better than Book of Boba Fett.
It's the same thing. It's the same thing, Jared.
No, Book of Boba Fett's much worse.
The first 2 seasons of Mandalorian were really good.
They were
they
were fine.
Season of Mandalorian, Book of Boba Fett, and Kenobi were awful.
Didn't Boba Fett complete his dream of taking over Tatooine's crime syndicate? Isn't that his motivation?
And then he said, "We're not made out for this, and so we shouldn't do this." And maybe
Power Rangers were,
and then said, "I don't want it."
Power Rangers were cool, right? They had motorcycles.
So cool.
Yeah, those little Power Rangers.
My bad. I keep getting distracted by the little bit of Star Wars I have seen.
The difference is the title of this video is "Woke Companies Make Bad Television," and that's the problem. We've talked about all the nuances and the reasons why it's bad, but the bottom line is these people are bad at making movies because they're not interested in making movies. They're interested in making propaganda. And that's why it's bad.
Yep.
They don't care about storytelling. They don't care about filmmaking. They care about the message. Insert the critical drinkers gif here, right? They're not. It's so pathetic, and it's not entertaining. It's boring. It's demoralizing, and it's just. I'm so tired of it.
Mm-hmm. I'm still entertained, so that's what matters to me. I'm still entertained.
Yeah, overall, this episode of Ahsoka was way better than the 3 crap Star Wars shows that I don't like. The season 3 of Mandalorian, Boba Fett, and Kenobi. It's way better than that. Mm-hmm. I think it ends up. There's some of it that I really, really like. The stuff with Anakin was really good. I thought some of the stuff in this last 2 episodes were really good. I think overall, I think you mentioned this before, Bearded Jared. I think it ends on kind of the level of the prequels. Not perfect, got some goofy stuff, but entertaining.
Prequels have way cooler fight scenes.
I won't disagree with you there. Yeah. Prequels did have way cooler fight scenes. Yeah.
Also, the music was really, really good this whole season,
absolutely
this last episode.
That's absolutely true, and it's one of those things where I've heard a handful of commentary about a lot of these live action shows. The music that the composers and things like that they've brought in have been and haven't been great. Even a lot of the movies have not been great. But if you look at the guy who did the music for Clone Wars and Rebels, Kevin Kiner, always did a great job of taking stuff from why am I forgetting his name? John Williams, from the original stuff, and building on it and expanding it and making it really good and making it fit the show that's going on right then.
Right.
And they actually brought him into this show, and he did it again, and it was great. The music was awesome. Kevin Kiner was in there. There's one scene in particular where Hera is come to the place where Ahsoka kind of disappeared into her Netherrealm thing, and her son, who's also the son of Kanan, so he's got Force sensitivity, can hear that Ahsoka is fighting in that other world, and he's listening to it and hearing it and trying to tell her to listen for it. And as he's hearing it, it slowly plays in the Force theme, and it was just beautifully done.
Yeah.
That again you miss in a lot of like Obi-Wan when he's not using the Force or whatever, as dumb as that was, and Leia falls off the building and he finally reaches out and uses the Force to catch her, and you don't have it come in with the Force theme. You're like, this doesn't feel right, because that's a time for the Force theme to come in and go, hey, hooray, he started using the Force and the Force is present and he's using it. But you didn't have that, and it made that moment that could have been a kind of cool, cathartic, fun moment.
Yeah, because that moment wasn't about Obi-Wan, it was about Leia.
But no, it was about Obi-Wan. But even if it was about Leia, you still should have had the Force theme in there because she's being saved by the Force.
No, I agree. So I'm saying the reason why they did it is because they suck.
Yeah. So the fact that they
weren't interested in telling a good story there.
This show did it.
It wasn't their priority.
Actually, but my point is, this show did. This show absolutely did, and the music was great. Even the
too
new
little,
music,
too late.
The fully new music that they have over the credits was really cool music too.
It was really good.
So anyway, that's I've gotten a chance to rant on my stuff that I really liked about it, and so I appreciate you guys. And I'm definitely open to and always happy to look at and talk about the criticisms of or things to criticize about the new Star Wars shows. But overall, I still love it. So
anyway, all right. Well, there's what I don't even know what's next on Star Wars, and I don't care. But I'm glad someone's enjoying it. I cannot physically bring myself to care.
We'll see. That one I can also see being a harder thing, like a more difficult one, because it's supposed to be a bunch of like kids stranded in space.
When's the next movie? It was supposed to be a while ago.
Stranded in space. We just need to go back to the Ewok adventure and call it a day.
Let's do it. Honestly, I'd be down. Let's freaking do it. Let's do Ewok
adventure.
Adventures.
Was rad. Totally like 80s.
Yeah, I need to watch that all the way through. I've only seen bits and pieces.
Yeah, I've only seen bits and pieces too. Yeah. Although I will also say, having watched the holiday special, I actually almost kind of enjoy the holiday special. As bad as it is and as dumb as it is,
it's funny.
I kind of enjoy it.
Yeah, it's funny.
So
I don't have anything.
Alex and Lady Bellfire, you refreshed and now you're frozen in a different position.
Yeah, I don't know. We're trying to do some troubleshooting, trying to figure out what's going on. You might have like too many windows open. I don't know.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure you knew.
We're doing a speed test. Like, is our sound still on? Okay.
You guys,
your sound sounds great. You guys
sound the same problem you had after with the after show. You guys froze, and then it fixed it.
I had to pause my watching the video so that I can be in the chat and everything. So I don't even have that running right now, and that's. Yeah. I don't know if that would help you at all if you're actually watching.
It might be something on the camera settings too. Sometimes it goes through a different route. I don't know. Just throwing darts at the board.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know. We're shutting some windows down. Alex has a bunch of windows open. So.
Yeah, I don't have anything to say about Star Wars. I don't care. I did watch Loki, and I honestly I don't have anything to say about Loki really, other than Short Round was entertaining. I love seeing him on camera. That was about it. Like, I don't think Loki was offensive. It was fine. It really wasn't like stand out in any way. It didn't impress me. It didn't unimpress me. I liked seeing Wan Lee, but there are definitely a whole bunch of red flags.
Didn't they destroy Loki last season?
Yeah. But
Loki is dead.
I haven't watched a Marvel thing.
How many times have they killed Loki? Like, come on.
There are a whole.
I don't mean canonically.
Not as they kill him, they destroyed his character because he didn't like. He's always supposed to be a trickster, right? And he wasn't.
He turned into a whiny little bitch.
There are a whole bunch of red flags from episode 1 of season 2 of I'm pretty sure I know where this is going, and it's not going to be good.
Isn't that how they've been rolling here with the Disney shows for most of them? Is that the first episode is either decent or lukewarm or not offensive. The second one a little bit more so, and then episode 3 they dump all the bullshit on you, and then the rest of the season is crap. Is that pretty much how it's been going? Like, I feel, or I don't know if that's the exact mold, but I know like the first few episodes are like lukewarm to okay to not offensive, and then like if they're gonna go bad, it happens by like end of episode 2, beginning of episode 3. I don't know. I haven't watched
pretty much how all of them have been. Like I've enjoyed, some of them. I enjoyed Loki and WandaVision, and what was the other one that came out before then? They were decent, for the first several episodes, and then the finales just kind of fell flat,
Yeah.
But the latest ones that they've been doing, I never finished Secret Wars or whatever.
Looks like it's going.
That was so bad.
When you can't get through a Secret Wars show, that there's something wrong. Like Secret Wars should be so.
Okay, there were no secrets and there was no war.
Sounds like the Wheel of Time. Like conversation.
There was no wheel and there was no time.
Yeah.
Actually, there was a wheel this season, but it was kinky.
It was on, it was on Mars. It doesn't count. It was on Mars.
It was on.
It was on a dream Mars.
Oh gosh, yeah. I just like I'm pretty ambivalent to Loki too. It was better than Ahsoka for sure. I didn't hate watching it. It was semi entertaining. Not a whole lot happened. It's just kind of bland. But man, the red flags were everywhere. It's going to be massive girl boss, girl power. They literally had a conversation where Loki and
Sylvie,
what's his name with the other guy, the Owen Wilson.
Yeah, Morbius.
I don't care.
Mobius, not Morbius.
Where Owen Wilson and Loki were just having a conversation, talking about how the girls beat the crap out of them, both individually. That was a conversation in this episode. It was, hey, I got the crap beaten out of me. You got the crap beaten out of you by a girl. A girl, yeah, girls rule, and they're great. And literally, and I can see it. The whole episode is if Sylvie is our Lord and Savior, and it's going to be boring as hell. But yeah. Let's talk
all I have to say is, like, if you go to the point where you're having like alternative dimensions, time travel, and secret love children, you're like freaking like show is dead. I'm sorry.
I love reading the synopsis of these episodes because it pretty much tells you immediately what's going to happen. So I just get to the sentence: to stop Loki's time slipping, OB instructs Mobius to approach the temporal loom with the temporal aura extractor device to extract Loki from the time stream as Loki burns himself. Perfect. That is nonsense.
Yeah.
Garbage talk that means nothing. Like,
also, you have writers that are dabbling in hard concepts like time, and then you have you're gonna have so many paradoxes because they don't know how to write time travel. Yeah. Time travel is hard to write because of all the paradoxes. So, the skills of them, I don't think they're even close to up to it. And then it's like, how many MacGuffins are in that one sentence you just read? The time-traveling device wand that controls time travel was lost, so they got the searcher for the time travel device to find the time travel device to it's like, what the hell is happening?
Yeah, I just have a lower threshold for my suspension of disbelief because I roll with it.
So I guess the two questions that I have about the show that need to be answered are: could the obese black chick still walk right up to Thanos and zap his ass?
Yes.
And it wouldn't matter, and Thanos would be done. Is the answer to that question yes?
Yes.
And then my next question is:
she doesn't have to walk. She could teleport behind Thanos and zap him. Yes.
Is there still no free will? Did Iron Man only take the nuke out of New York because that was the only destined plot that he could have taken without the TVA?
They're playing around
up until this point in the MCU, there was zero free will. But with the finale of Loki season 1, they killed the time god, and so now free will exists. Yes.
Okay, perfect. So the answer to those two questions precludes this from ever being a watchable television series.
Yes. You'd be correct.
I mean, am I wrong here?
Nope.
I mean,
I still have fun with it.
Are the Infinity Stones still being used as paperweights?
Yes.
All right, perfect. Okay, that's all I really need to know about this one.
Cool.
Oh boy.
Let's talk about the Wheel of Time, baby.
Did you want just a quick bit on the creator? Because I know.
Oh yeah. You got a bunch of people watch the creator. I, from the trailer, thought it looked incredibly boring, and I didn't think I was going to have fun. And it sounds like I was right.
Yeah, you probably criticized. Yeah.
I have never. Okay, this has got to be like one of the worst things I've seen this year, and this is right after we watched episode 8 of Wheel of Prime.
Yeah.
Cool.
I have never seen.
I've not watched Wheel of Prime. I would find that hard to believe.
No, it is just as bad and nonsensical. It is so anti-American, anti-human, anti-natalist. So they don't like human reproduction or anything. It's anti-human.
Anti-white.
Anti-white. Yes, extremely anti-white.
Yeah. Oh yeah, whites are the worst.
it was made by the same people who brought you like the new Star Wars stuff. So it has
just Rogue
that
One.
same,
Rogue One was the only one that he was involved with.
It has that same look. It's the same kind of like visuals. I've even seen like this, like the same kind of shots where they show stuff on beaches blowing up. Like, it's just,
did you?
It's just so bad.
Earth in 2065 is all white
good.
except for one good black guy.
No,
I'm not exaggerating. Every single
in the US, yeah,
was white except for one good black guy. I could not stop laughing.
Yeah, I will say it is. So for me, I had a lot of fun with it. But it was kind of your classic like, oh look, we made AI and it turned out that it hurt us, and then it turns out it was our own fault anyway. And like I caught a lot of plot points well before they were going to come. So like, what's the big bad weapon? Oh, it's a child AI that can evolve and learn.
I love that they gave that away in the trailer. That was my favorite
AI.
part.
We're like, oh, I know that's going to be the main character's kid, or like based off the main character's kid. I'm like,
well, here's the funny thing of it. Okay, so like this guy is on a secret mission, the black guy, and he like hooks up with this like generic brown Asian woman. They're supposed to be in Thailand, but I'm pretty sure that most of those people weren't actually Thai. So again, it's one of those things where all Asian people are the same. So here we go. And so so he's undercover and he needs to like meet this woman's father or something. So he ends up, and we don't really even see their relationship develop. He ends up like marrying her and knocking her up. So the very first scene in the movie is she says that she doesn't know if it's this guy's kid or not, and I'm not entirely sure that she's joking. And then
I took it as she was joking, but I got
I'm not sure, honestly.
And then she made a kid that was exclusively her features.
No.
Yeah, that was kind of an interesting thing. It was supposed to be based off of the two of them, but
no, it's not about the two of them. The way that she made this kid is she said she took the features off of her fetus. I would just like you to just think about that. How hell
she made the AI kid based off of her own kid?
Yeah, allegedly she took it. She took.
What happened to her real kid?
You don't exactly. That's what I'm saying.
In a nuke.
Died? No. Wait.
But the lady who supposedly died in the nuke, but then she didn't.
Okay, while they're telling this story, you see this woman working on something that's in what looks like an artificial womb. So how did she give this thing? I'm wondering if she was ever really pregnant, and two, it's like, did she like somehow remove the fetus and put it into the AI? Because this woman was very pro AI, and then in a move that surprises absolutely nobody, you find out that she is actually the mastermind and always has been. And this movie had I love Android stuff. I love Westworld, the first episode of it. Like I like
first season
watching
had so much potential.
Yeah, the alien stuff with the androids and that, and the questions they raise. And you usually go ahead.
Have you watched Raised by Wolves?
No, I have not.
I've heard good things about that.
What are you talking about?
It was so good, and its cancellation was like one of the worst things that ever happened to me.
It just like, it's usually when you deal with a story about androids, you're not talking about like technology. It's a story about humanity, and there's usually either two directions that it goes. It's like androids are like things that are programmed by humans, and their absolute lack of humanity is what makes it horrific. Or somehow the androids end up becoming more like humans and they develop free will and sentience, like what happens in Westworld, versus like something like, I don't know, Demon Seed or something like that from the 80s. And this movie did nothing because there's no demonstration. I mean, a lot of the androids that we meet are absolutely retarded. It's like they talk to each other, and it's like, dude, Bluetooth is a thing. My phone could talk to his phone right now if we were like into that.
Sorry,
why are they talking? And it's
what
like,
movie? I was in the bathroom. Sorry.
We're talking about the creator, the movie The Creator.
And
Raised by Wolves did White Cloaks pretty good though, but I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, like, oh man, I'm so devastated that it got canceled.
I absolutely agree with you though that like it brushed past it. It wasn't about AI. Like it made it seem like it was going to be about AI, but they were just like, oh look, it like in that first like opening thing, it was like, oh look, robots can help us, and then we turned it into AI, and now AI bombed us and it's a bad thing, and so we're going to fight AI. And
but it's actually humans that did it, not the AI.
It was actually humans. It was bad programming.
Yeah,
or whatever.
That was also spoiled in the trailer.
Yeah, easy to like. I didn't see that part of the trailer, so I didn't know that from the trailer. But I immediately knew that it's going to be the humans' fault. It's going to be, but and this is the reason it's anti-American is because it's like it's the West that is against it, but in China they're all still for it.
Did you?
Which I don't know. I didn't. I wasn't willing to take that message out of it, though I absolutely see that that's where you're getting
that was
and why you feel that with that message.
Funded by a Chinese movie with Chinese characters in the credits.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. I'm just saying that's not how I took the message, the story of it. But you're absolutely right.
It's like the United West or something like that.
No,
but
it's the United States. It's U.S.
It says the West. It just says the West in general.
It's like the United West or something like that, but every piece of military equipment says U.S. military, Army, and it shows them going through it's just so dumb, and it has all of these. It has the stereotypical quirky Star Wars droid, except none of them really actually have personalities, and none of them do anything. Like, I would care more about the AI if we actually saw them save a person, make a decision where they sacrifice themselves to save anyone, but we don't see it. We just see people talking about it.
They have a bit where again the AI is trying to say like, it wasn't our fault, it was bad programming on the human's part that caused the big disaster or whatever, and they have a couple of mentions of the idea that like, we couldn't hurt people or we wouldn't do that or whatever, but yet also right at like at the very very beginning you see one of the robots punching a dude in the face and very like like you can tell that this is the it's not just a robot that has no mind of its own. It's basically its own being. They fast forward to the point where robots are just other beings, period. And they just ask you to accept that from the get-go. And then these people hate these other beings, but they're like, they want to make it like these robot beings, these AI beings are not bad. And there's no like, we couldn't hurt people. And yet you start out with them having a very,
and then there's this
apparent
whole
desire of hurting people.
Police force that goes out of the way to hurt people, and then it's so dumb because it's like they can obviously create a very humanoid looking person, but they have this weird wheel thing that's like behind their ears, and it's like, just cover that up with fake skin. Like, this is
so the audience will know that it's not a real human; it's an AI.
And then you can't play around with it like, but it was actually an AI.
This movie is like a Terminator at fucking Down syndrome. Like,
the one thing that I will say is honestly, I disagree that the AI didn't have anything going on. The problem was that they were just other people. There wasn't anything distinguishing about them being AI versus being real people, except for their look. There was no So there was no,
I don't know what made them such a threat versus the people. And then it's like, no offense, if you guys have this giant like stratospheric like airplane and you guys think AI is an existential threat and you could just nuke anything from orbit, what the hell are you just nuking like Asia out of the fucking Stone Age? I don't get
because they have no problem with their friends in Asia, but only with the AI that they're with. That's one of the lines that they talk about.
Yeah, which is so dumb because then you realize that the whole station is run by AI. So like,
it is. It's dumb. So the one thing that I will say is I do think that the effects looked great.
It looked really cool, but
there was no like thing that looked bad with the CGI of it at all, which again is another good point too. They spent $80 million on this movie, and the the CGI in this looked amazing.
Yeah,
and yet there's lots of things like The Flash that spent $300 million, and the CGI looked garbage.
Did you guys see though? Did you see
the story was
in discussion of the special effects, did you see that this movie used footage from the actual real life Beirut explosion?
Oh, really?
For their movie?
That's fucked up.
Yeah. Not like if you're using it for reference, that makes sense. No. They just took the shot that the guy recorded and just turned it into their movie.
Huh.
Interesting.
That is messed up.
You've CGI'd over the buildings?
Yeah.
Yeah, they CGI'd over some of the buildings. Yep.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
Is that supposed to be well, so hang on, I'm wondering too, because I'm trying to remember exactly where the shot was in the movie. Was this when?
I think this is the nuke. I don't know. I didn't watch it.
When they nuke LA, so this is supposed to be LA that they were nuking instead of Beirut. Yeah, that's an interesting one. Yeah, like I could see how you could theoretically do that in a way that's supposed to be like homage to it or like paying respect to it.
Right there.
But I don't think they did that in any way, shape, or form. So yeah,
no, it was.
Especially if they decided we're using this shot as a shot of LA being bombed, not of somewhere else being bombed. So yeah, that's a weird one.
You're telling me that China took something without properly crediting it and used it as their own. That seems very out of character for them.
Yeah,
I'm not sure I believe that. He said sarcastically.
It's funny. China will take things without credit, right? And not credit them. And Disney will do things that they should definitely not credit. But then in the credits to Mulan, they'll say, "Oh, thank you to the concentration camp that we filmed this movie in." It seems like you know that's the kind of thing you would want to keep silent, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, that's the last time that I think I need to interject an extra thing, though. So
cool.
New time, baby.
Yeah.
Don't worry, it gets worse from frickin' here.
Yeah. Holy crap.
There's nothing. Yeah. There's nothing good to talk about.
No,
I'll hang out for a bit. I don't really have anything to add, but I'll hang out for a bit because I want to see what you guys are. What's going on?
There was actually one good thing that I have to say about the finale episode.
It ended.
There you go. Okay, two good things. One, it's ended. The suffering is over. No,
for now.
They actually had Matt blow the horn, so that was good.
Was it a horn?
Yeah, but see, that's the problem.
So
hold on. I want to say, I don't mean to interject, but considering what the show has done to Matt, I don't think it was good. I think they probably would have been better off having someone else blow the horn because Matt is terrible. But I get what you're saying. Agree. It's actually, you know,
it's at least something.
What was your other thing, David? What was your other thing?
The way that it was going, I didn't think they were going to have him blow the horn, which would have made me mad. I don't know. But
I think that's the only thing, isn't it? That and it ended.
Well, it's tied to that. I thought the special effects on the Heroes of the Horn looked pretty darn good, and we got Uno back as a consolation prize, so that's better than nothing.
Or you could just not kill him off.
I know. I would rather them not kill him off, right?
So,
are we really giving extra credit for a very basic and simple smoke appearance?
It didn't look like it wasn't smoke. It was smearing. I would have preferred smoke wisping off of him. You know.
And what did Uno do to actually be like considered a hero of the horn?
He spat.
Shut up and like it.
He hawked a loogie.
He deep-throated the horn.
Yeah,
he's Gatel
Maybe
Kane,
he's
guys.
the one that blew the horn, guys.
Perfect. We've now ruined Gatel Kane. Gatel Kane wasn't even in the show and is now ruined. We're reaching levels of character assassination that shouldn't even be possible.
I think my only good there is one good takeaway from the episode, and that's Jeff from Bornhold. That's it.
Bornhold, dude.
I fucking love
Jeff.
He was so good.
He was actually really good. He had good motivations. He's trying to protect the people of Falmouth.
All
He's
of
trying
the
to get
White
rid
Cloaks.
of the slavers. The White Cloaks are doing the right thing. They're making the White Cloaks look great, and then Perrin freaking murders him.
Yeah, they're not supposed to be the good guys, but they are.
100% the good guys. Even Dane,
nuts.
Even Dane is saving Perrin, and they're saving innocents, and they're trying to save people and get them out of town.
Yeah.
It's like they're doing all the right things, and then they're like, we're supposed to be. Are we supposed to be happy that Perrin commits murder? Like, is that supposed to be a yes, good job, Perrin? Like, I don't even like. I'm jumping way ahead, but it's one of the scenes that really bothers me.
We're not doing this scene. We're not doing this scene by scene. We that took 5 hours last time on the White Cloaks channel. I'm not even pulling up the episode. We're just talking about it.
Perrin's whole all he does is murder things. He murders his wife. He murders. Like, he straight up murders Jeffrem for killing a dog. Why would
we're as an audience, we're not even attached to the dog yet because they haven't developed that relationship at all.
Yes, I mean, shouldn't Perrin be like, I get it. Like Perrin,
It was literally
and
just
Hopper,
a random dog.
Look, I get it. Perrin and Hopper, they made love, they cuddled, they've developed this relationship. Hopper's now his sit-in wife, and they're having cuddle times and all that stuff. So Perrin's really attached to the dog. But shouldn't Perrin be able to realize that a wild animal just came in and attacked one of Jeffrem's soldiers? Jeffrem needs a soldier in the fight because they're being overwhelmed by Sean Chan. So what do? You get rid of the Noose's dog so your soldier can fight. And then why didn't Emmett Valda jump right back to Perrin and kill him?
Yes. Oh my
God. How does he kill
Stops attacking Perrin.
Like, tell me how this happens. The guy is wearing like a solid metal
breastplate
with a stringer down the middle. That is very, very, very it's strong. It's extremely strong. But you just kind of smack him with an axe, and that's it.
Lady Bella, you fail to recognize that the costuming that they used in this series was incredibly cheap. So that was just like aluminum,
plastic
stuff. So I mean, of course, an axe is going to go through that.
You would need a literal war pick to get through a breastplate.
Yeah.
Well, but
the one thing we're not.
But guys, and then he drops the axe again.
I know.
Yeah, right. He finally picks up an axe.
He's so useless. It's like
he picks up an axe just to drop it again. And
it's because he's become the defender now.
He's the protector. Guys, all of season 3, he's going to be walking around with that stupid shield that Uno gave him.
I don't know how it physically. Shouldn't it disappear into smoke too? I don't know.
Yes. Why? Why is there a shield? Like, who is Perrin protected?
He's almost as useless as Rand.
You forgot that he deflected a Shamael's weaves with the shield.
Yep.
I will say the White Cloaks are not getting enough credit for one thing, and that is their advancements in science technology. They somehow made a random incest burner.
Right. These people are religiously opposed to magic. So this is science, guys.
Not to mention the Deadeye blow-up trebuchet that took out 18 people in one shot.
Yes.
It was pinpoint accurate, right on the top. Like, where do you get these trebuchets, and where can I get some? Like these seem like really good.
They took out that tower, man.
Think about the extent of that smoke shield, right? We don't have the technology today to be able to pull off something like that. And they pulled it off in Renaissance times with no magic.
5 kids.
Five children.
5 children. Yeah.
I laughed so hard at that. It just showed a couple incense burners swinging around, and then all of a sudden,
David,
it's complete fuck.
But David, the White Cloaks have something the Sean Chan don't.
Oh, is that so?
Child soldiers.
I wish.
Wait, you guys don't remember Baby Spice Domine? You don't remember that chick from the Shitty Village number 3?
It would have been so great if you had
12.
It would have been so great if we had a conversation from the kids. Like, when are we going to be able to stop making smoke? We've been walking around here for like 3 days.
It follows them into the city too. Like, there's shots where the smoke is in the city.
It follows them in. It's literally Mashadar. Mashadar is in Falme, and it's good. It's a good Mashadar cloud now.
They're testing out the effect for Mistborn.
Oh God,
baby.
Why do they hate Catholics so much?
I don't know. But God,
so I heard a comment about Mistborn, and it got me thinking. Did you hear that Brandon was saying that unfortunately, with all the strikes and all the mess that's going on in Hollywood, all of his projects seem to have disappeared for a bit now?
Look, his relationship is with Amazon, and Amazon keeps setting their fantasy money on fire.
Yep, and that's the thing he said. He said now everybody's got sticker shock because all this money that they're pouring into these shows aren't doing anything. I'm like, gee, you'll wonder why. You make good stories.
This is the stupidest thing ever. Okay, like Sanderson, stop. I don't want to get off the rails too much. Sanderson had 4 books. They're not even very good. He took out of his pocket that he wrote on freaking napkins. And then he made $40 million. Okay? Just crowdfund a movie.
Yes.
And you can make it however you want.
And honestly, that was the only reason I was
Sanderson
actually
has
so
such
excited.
a big following. He could literally do another Kickstarter. Surprise! I'm crowdfunding 4 secret movies.
Right.
Yeah. And
money.
Did it. Yeah.
And
money
he
just
would
dropped.
get the money.
Say, the only reason that I was actually kind of excited was because I felt like he was going to be one in the position to have enough control or maintain enough control, and then second, he was smart enough to also know that while he is a great storyteller, he is not a movie storyteller at this point, and so he would figure out how to work with the right kind of people who could take his vision.
He'd be better at it than the people currently doing it, though.
He'd be better at it than most people currently doing it. But I do think that there are people who could actually do it better, and I think he would find those people and work with them.
I have
what I was thinking. Anyway, sorry. You triggered my trap card by mentioning Mistborn. So
people
sorry.
around him, but
well, yeah, Matt Hatch is hired on as his YouTube coordinator. So like,
yeah, and what's
I don't know.
Oh,
sorry, David. I'm sorry.
Yeah, what's the name of the guy that is doing some writing for him? That
Dan Wells.
Dan
Wells. Yeah, I do not like Dan Wells.
No,
really.
So it's one of the, like I will be at this point. I will be skeptical of anything until I see it start getting made. And I mean, I think you're right, man. I think like at least that's. I would hope that he defends his own properties, but I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's so like just go with the flow on some of these things. It's just like he may just let them do whatever the hell they want. I really don't know until I saw something.
I do think that's at least some public like playing the PR game to not offend people.
Exactly.
That can help them out
hope, but I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's at least a good chunk of that. Maybe not completely.
I love Sanderson's books too. I just finished Secret Project 4 and it was fun. So
it was okay. I couldn't get through. I couldn't get through Yumi. I
really.
I hated it.
Really?
I liked it.
I maybe I was just not in the mindset. I couldn't get into Yumi.
Oh, Yumi was fun.
I really liked
it. I liked the magic system. I couldn't stand the characters, so I was having a problem with it. So
wow,
could just be me.
I am kind of a Sanderson simp though. I like all of his books.
A Sanderson book where you liked the magic system but didn't like the characters?
Yeah.
What a bold take there.
I'm just saying, Yumi. I haven't started 4 yet. Yumi, I couldn't.
All I have to say is I think it's kind of nuts that it's like not only do we have all these 50 worlds, but we have like an entire class of magical creatures that have to tell us what all of the characters are feeling.
She hates the sprint. She despises.
I despise like these books, but I listen to a lot of them with him, so I have like a pretty like vague concept of everything.
If you read more than just the Stormlight Archive, because that's the only place you got something like Spren, but
yeah.
So
Mistborn was pretty awful.
Steve has been getting my my updates on the Cosmere. Steve, I think I started in March.
I don't know. You plowed right through it.
He listens to this stuff all the time. Like we go to the grocery store. Okay, it's time for Rhythm of War.
That's how I listen to stuff too. That's exactly how I do it at work. I listen to it as I'm walking around. But I don't know how we got onto Cosmere and Sanderson.
Anyway,
working on the effects for Mistborn.
You mentioned Matt Hatch. Is that someone I should know who that
Dusty
is?
Wheel.
Oh, gross.
Yeah.
Hatch.
He's in charge. Yeah, Matt Hatch is in charge of. He hired him as his YouTube like guy. Matt Hatch does all his YouTube stuff apparently.
Oh no.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Like I said, you guys, like he liked Wheel of Prime until it became pretty obvious that the book fans and stuff were very and then he kind of just stopped talking about it.
So Lady B, I'm very curious because apparently him and Daniel Green are supposed to be sitting down to watch episode 8 live.
That's supposed to be like tonight, right? Or
so
sometime
I'm not
this
going to
week?
watch it, but it's supposed to be sometime this week. I don't know when. I'm not going to watch it.
I don't think they're doing it live. I think they're recording it.
Maybe they're recording it, but I'm going to be very curious to hear what everybody is going to throw at my DMs and in my Discord to say.
Yeah, I'm very curious about
completely sold out again. I hope he doesn't. I hope he just doesn't
I'm very nervous for that conversation because
I don't watch his stuff. I don't watch it anymore. I don't watch any of his YouTube stuff anymore because of that exactly. Because I don't want to hear you say that crap.
Daniel Green completely flip flopped like 6 times on the Wheel of Time.
Oh, Daniel Green had a book come out and went from bad to good like that.
Yeah.
Daniel Green has no morals and no standards whatsoever. The fact that Sanderson is even going on with Daniel Green is
Well, he's been at it. Whatever. Wheel of Time sucks.
Yeah, can we talk about? Hey, you guys, that new throuple that just dropped at that cold open. And can we talk
I'm gonna
about
get out of
how?
here. I'm gonna get out of here since I was the one that distracted us on this board anyway. So
Hey,
have a good one. Enjoy tearing apart Leo Prime.
Yeah.
Have a good one.
Bye, man.
Luz Theron, Lanfear, and Ishamael. Thruple confirmed.
Wait, so how about the fact that we are sealing Ishmael like he's the dark? Like, I truly believe that they like. I think we talked about it a little bit. They have screwed up everything so much they don't know what to do. I 100% believe they started the show with Ishmael being the Dark One.
I think so
everybody,
too.
including the fans of the show, said that doesn't work. That's not how it should be. So they said, "Oh no, even the shills don't like this. We got to make a change." But then they forgot to change anything that goes along with it because it's like.
Because they show them sealing away the Dark One, but it's just Ishamael.
Somebody is still. I'm looking for somebody
to. They spoiled it in their cosplay guide, so it's like, and they also spoiled the Celine Lanfear thing. It's like,
yeah.
Well, I'm still looking for somebody to explain to me why the one power, besides for just they're men, because that doesn't count. Why is the one power dirty? Because when men channel it. There was no counterstroke. There was no nothing.
That in the show.
Why? Like
there's
this
no
was your
gendered
moment
magic
to like.
system in the show. That's why.
This was supposed to be the moment where it
why?
makes sense.
I know what. I think I know what they're gonna do.
What?
It wasn't Lanfear that created the boar anymore.
Of course it wasn't.
The boar that released the Dark One in the first place.
What dark?
It was a man. It was a man who created the boar.
Didn't they already say it was Luz
cursed all men, and now anytime they channel it, dirties the power.
No,
it releases more of the boar. I don't know.
I think Lady B. They said that it's Lewis. They said Lewis Theron is the one that made Lanfear go to the Shadow. I think that's what they said. Him and Ishii.
I had that on my bingo card.
Steve, we had to have blackout bingo. I think the only one we missed was
I'm gonna next time what's happening. We'll
we'll have to bring all our
I'll bring them all up
bingo cards because I have one too, and it's like because, I know by episode 2 I almost had bingo. So
I had to turn off my computer, so I lost all the ones that were actively being. So we'll just have to check them all off again. But it's crazy how chat went off throwing out some of the most ludicrous stuff they could think of.
Yeah,
they were all right. They were all right.
Checking them off. It's like the whole Ash, and they are actually apparently there's an article out there where they call that abomination of a spear. They call it his Ashendara.
No,
they actually call it his Ashendara. It's like, are you guys insane? Like, who on planet?
Dude,
Earth
that's like a prison shank. Literally, he took a stick, a piece of the bed, and duct taped.
Broke it.
He broke a stick.
Don't you realize it's cooler now? It's better than an Ashendari because it's a lightsaber Ashendari.
Oh my god!
Yeah, apparently it would melt through locks.
Yeah, right. When did that happen?
I don't know, man. Stop asking the questions.
And I'm like. They're coming through the ventilation shafts.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. How about literally, this is a sequence in the show. Loyal walks around the corner. He has the Horn of Valir. Massima happens to be there because where was he? Who knows? But he's there now. They run into Matt randomly, and Matt goes, "We gotta help Rand." And they go, "But we can't open this thing. We forgot what Turok did when we were staring at him for 2 days in the same position. We forgot." He's like, "Well, I can use my melt-a-wall staff here. I'll cut it out." And then they cut the freaking Horn of Valir out of the box. It's like,
you know what I love about the show, though? It's like they have such a problem with consistency, so they don't remember character motivations, but they're very consistent with one thing. It's like Luz Theron is an absolutely useless person.
Oh, yeah.
And so is Rand.
Yeah. Mark Clark, thank you so much for the $1.99. You gotta respect the polycule, and it won't be the only one. You know it because we're 100% gonna get some Rand, Avienda, and Elaine action.
Really? Do you think it'll be like Rand, Elaine, and Lanfear?
It's probably gonna. They might not all be at the same time.
Well,
we are definitely gonna get Elaine, and Avienda. There's no way that Rafe Judkins could ever pass that.
Hold on a second. Wait a second. I thought he was still in love with Egwene. Does Egwene dump him because she had to save him again?
I don't know.
You're not enough of a man. I had to save you with my MacGuffin shield that I don't know where I learned to do it, but apparently it's powerful enough to defend against the strongest Forsaken, or one of the strongest Forsaken.
Elaine said her name now, and Rand is in love with her.
Yep, exactly.
There was a big
Did you? I never got to show this tweet, but when we were doing the after show and I was torturing myself by scrolling through Twitter, I found this one. And it's the biggest reach I've ever seen. The transformation of Elaine from saying, "I'm Elaine Trakand, daughter heir of Andor," to "I'm Elaine" in the last episode is just chef's kiss.
That's such a transformation by
what?
Like, lol, what?
That's character arc.
This is the praise that the show is getting. I genuinely don't understand what point is being made here at all.
Me either. I don't get like
saying she became humble, Steve.
Like this bitch goes around telling everyone she's a daughter heir of Andor and her mom's the queen, and she can't even get anyone to sneak alcohol into the dorms for her.
You heard Slappy. You heard 100% wrong. Okay. I don't know if it's going to be all three of them. It's not. It's probably not going to be a threesome because that would be giving a man too much. Gaze. Right. Yeah. Right. But when asked directly on Twitter, it was during his Q&A before season 1 even, they asked him about the polygamy that happens in the books. And he said, "I'm more interested in polyamory than I am in polygamy," which means Avienda and Elaine are 100% going to bang.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
It's probably going to be a love triangle. Rand is going to sleep with both of them, and they're going to sleep with each other. Unfortunately, Rand is not going to get a threesome.
There's a third thing at play here. Is there's the like Rand parent and Egwene love triangle.
Yes. That was very strong at the end of the last of the first season.
Sorry, what? I missed everything you guys just said. What?
Do you think it's a mistake that Perrin came to save Egwene and then they were standing next to each other like almost hand in hand at the end of the show?
No idea.
I think they heard everyone guessing what they were doing and they're trying to walk it back now. No, he wasn't in love with Elaine. It wasn't Rand the whole time. Anyways, we'll know as it's either Tuon or Fael. As the second we get those castings, one of them's going to be a man.
Well, no, they're already cast.
They're already cast.
They are?
They're already cast, yeah.
They cast Fael as a woman?
Yeah.
Okay, so then it's Tuon that's a man.
I thought Tuon was already cast too.
Oh, I don't know. Someone's getting pegged. Someone's getting pegged in this show. Is it just going to be Rand then?
Yes.
Land narrowly escaped with his life. I mean, come on.
Well, look, Land bent over for Moraine when she started channeling. So I mean that I don't know what he was doing on the beach there, but I was quite amazed. Well, actually, I shouldn't say amazed, but it was quite interesting that immediately after Rand does murder and goes up for the final battle, he ends up where again? Back on his knees.
He just sits there, lies there, getting held by Matt in like some really like poor amalgamation of the Pieta. But it looked better with Michelangelo, did it?
It doesn't even try or struggle. He's just like, I can't do anything. I'm shielded. I'm like, just shut up.
But then while he's still shielded, just stands up.
Yeah. It's very.
Which means every single time it happened previously this season, it was a choice that he just hung out on his knees,
being shielded by 8 Shan weapons, Damani or weapons.
It was 13, so wasn't it 13?
It might. I don't know.
They said, do you have 13 left?
It might have been 13. I don't know. Well, they had more than 13.
The intent was to then steal him.
They were all on boat. Well, they don't.
Sorry,
I'd have to count. Yeah, gentle. You're right. I'd have to look because I thought I counted 8 on the boat, but they don't know what the number 13 means. So 8 could,
But they did say 13. I don't know if I counted 13.
And they did specifically say, "Do you know how to gentle?"
Yeah, they do.
Or something. So that that was their intention.
So why didn't you gentle them?
Right.
You had plenty of time.
They were because they didn't get the signal.
Yeah.
Well, they were 2 miles into the ocean, or like 5 miles into the ocean.
How on earth is like you can see it like go up the tower and then like drop down over the
my brother doesn't even get mad about some of this shit, and like after he watched it, I had like pages of text about what the hell, like they were literally miles into the ocean. There's 30 boats out there with Damane and soldiers on. Why are they? The city you have taken is under attack. Why would even if you're holding some in reserve, why would you hold them in reserve in the middle of the ocean where they're useless? Even if you need a pack to handle Rand, what about the other 30 boats that have Damane and soldiers on them? Why aren't they actively pushing back? Because
I loved that the White Cloak said several times, "We are probably going to lose this battle," and there wasn't a single point where they weren't winning.
Exactly.
I loved that they showed up with like 10,000 horses.
I know.
Charging into the city was
with
wild.
Walls. The walls, like, come on, guys.
And then the horses disappear again.
Were there multiple? Like, I mean, literally 98% of the White Cloak army just vanished. It was.
Yeah, it was ridiculous, and also you have half of the scenes in this episode are just people casually walking through a war zone. Like
I know everyone's just walking
casually.
Oh my gosh!
David,
they're like
how did you
MSN
feel?
reporters on a stage set. Yeah.
Right.
David, how did you feel about the fact that Nynaeve's whole storyline in this episode was I can't remove an arrow from Elaine's leg in the middle of a war zone?
Wait,
Like, pull it out.
We forgot to include the fact that Egwene tortured a prisoner.
Yeah, that too.
Okay, Egwene has now attempted to kill an unarmed prisoner and has now tortured an unarmed prisoner.
And then she did kill.
Oh, you mean Nynaeve? You're talking about Nynaeve, right?
Yes.
Right.
Oh,
okay.
Yeah.
No, because Egwene did kill.
Egwene did kill someone at the end.
I'm gonna miss Brenna mad. I've never seen acting that bad, and it was kind of growing in on me.
No, her shoulder blades. Like if you look at that scene, she is not.
You can literally see there's a gap between the thing and her neck, and she's
clearly not choking, and she's
like her.
Oh no! Don't choke me!
It's like
I can't breathe. I can't breathe.
It's
so bad.
It's like Keanu Reeves' hover hand, that he always does.
Well, it's the same thing that happened with the Egwene. They hung her up by her thing. Like this is the foreshadowing. She foreshadowed because she was hung by her shoulder blades and choking, and they dragged her in the room and she crawled backwards. It's like, it's just like, do you understand how hard you're making it on your audience when you do something that is so obviously, and you're telling us this woman is choking to death, and you can clearly see that she's not. And it's like, you can't even do that right.
It says by the end, the production budget for Vikings was $40 million, which is the biggest production the History Channel has ever done.
Wow.
Compared to Wheel of Time,
which has gone through 200. It's about 230 million in two seasons. Yeah. The fucking our good guys are a fucking walking Geneva Convention violation. Like, oh my god! Like Nynaeve especially is
like
wilding out
in the books. They capture one of the Suldam, yes, and she's like, she doesn't like it. She's like, oh no, like I don't want to do it. But like then she has to like use the power to get information, right? And this she's just like cutting off toes and fingers, like give me to tell me where your rebel friends are, you scum. Like it's insane. There's not even a moment of hesitation or guilt or remorse whatsoever. It's I'm gonna freaking torture you until I get what I need because I'm Nynaeve. And it's girl power.
So unlikable.
Bitch can't even fucking channel. Like, come on.
Yeah, she can't channel yet either. Like, why is she a better Suldom than every other Suldom in the show? Like, she's doing exactly what the Suldom should be doing. Like, Egwene Suldom is the biggest idiot on the planet. It's like, and then you spend a whole
just the fact that Egwene is able to say no. It's not like a request. You use the bracelet, and it forces the person to channel.
Yes, exactly.
Right.
That's how it works.
She can't say no. No, okay, jump off the. Okay, bye.
All of the torture, that happens in the books is when she's like off leash. Well, it's on leash, but like not like being used. Right? It's she leaves her in the room when she goes what's her name? The Suldom. When Rena comes back, she picks up the bracelet and says, "Oh, the bracelet's telling me you tried to pick it up. That means torture now, and you lose your name." Yeah. Like when the bracelet is on, there is zero resistance. You have to obey.
Well, and then we have a whole episode teaching us that if she thinks of something as a weapon that will hurt her Suldom, she can't do it. Yet she takes this bracelet that she intends to use to kill her, and she puts it on her. Yeah. It's like, no, you can't show. Hello, your show. You told us. You spend a whole episode telling us she can't do that.
Yep. It doesn't matter. They just care about having her be super powerful and don't need anybody to save her, right? And they even make her a point of it. Like, I came to save you, but I guess you don't need to be saved because you can save yourself.
And then she saves Rand.
It can't even be Nynaeve that saves Egwene. Yep. She has to save herself. Like,
that's the thing that's just so sickening about it, because he's there to save her. That's his whole motivation. He fails at that, and then he needs saving, and who saves him? Egwene saves him.
Right.
It's like
she saved herself and
13
Rand.
people to gentle that bitch. He's already like broken. Like, come on.
Right.
I'm really stuck on like they actually think that any of these three boys or like even the women could save the world. It's like, come on.
Yeah. So
it goes back to the theme of this episode. It's the woke mindset. Woke companies make bad TV. Why do these problems exist? Because they want girl power. They want a girl boss. And it's more powerful to have Nynaeve just torture someone with no remorse rather than show her being vulnerable and growing as a person. They need her to have victories rather than letting Egwene be saved by Nynaeve and giving Nynaeve a girl boss moment that's actually earned and genuine. That's not allowed. Egwene has to save herself and get a girl boss moment. Look, and it's so stupid. They're so concerned with the message, with setting up these moments, right, and getting their ESG score up, that they ignore the fact that the book already has girl boss moments written in.
Right.
There's already so much cool freaking stuff in the books.
Yeah. It was supposed to be Nynaeve.
Nynaeve saving her is freaking awesome. And then she goes off.
Yeah.
Egwene gets pissed and does cool stuff.
But she blew a hole in the ground when she was a Suldom.
She did do that.
I know, that was powerful.
They show her like choosing to attack the White Cloaks too. It's not like, I'm being forced to do this. She sees them, gets angry, and kills White Cloaks. And then cut to the next scene. I have remorse now.
Yeah. It's completely inconsistent.
Complete woman moment. Look, I don't like the White Cloaks, so I'm going to fight with the person actively torturing me to beat the people that I don't like.
Yeah, that's empowerment right there.
I also loved this. Like, you guys talk about the girl boss moment for Egwene. The Egwene girl boss moment wasn't even the worst broken rule girl boss moment in that 10-minute segment. Moraine nuking all of the ships.
Yes. Breaking the codes
from like 30 miles. She's like 10 miles away.
Yep.
Like, and
she's got her binoculars out. Wait, they were so far away. I was genuinely shocked when Shan-Chan shoulders when the Shan-Chan showed up and gave Lan something to do. I was like, why are they here? This is miles away.
That's the only reason they're there is to give Lan something to do. And then if you watch the fight, there's like 5 or 6 times where Lan dies, and there's like a whole bunch of times where there's so many soldiers there. One of them just needs to walk 5 feet to the right and stab Maureen in the back, and the threat is neutralized. There's no reason that they wouldn't.
White Cloaks have 800 subs now.
Yeah,
I don't.
Yeah.
I don't know what.
It means
I
Steve and Alex are going to eat mail packets.
I'm not doing it here. I have to confirm later. Don't worry.
We can talk about it later.
What do you have to do?
I gotta eat a mayo packet.
He hates mayo too, so I'm like, you know what?
It's been a running gag on my thing on my channel. Salty sent me a box of mayo packets because I have this aversion to mayo.
Oh,
so whenever
why did you choose such a low number when you're constantly promoting the White Cloaks channel?
They were because they were $7.93. I was like, come on, you can get
now they're at 800. So
I hate the mayo, but like the freaking the goddamn cruise missile scene is like. It's just the fight. He catches an arrow. He catches like 2 arrows.
He catches 2 arrows.
They literally do a Last Jedi.
They're shooting arrows at him instead of Moraine, who's just standing there.
While she's doing her interpretive dance. Why is she the only one that is like freaking doing like?
These people don't know how real life works. Their shows are so boring. Their writing is so boring because they write a first draft, show it to their friends, and they all get gold stars on their butt plugs because they're like, "Oh, this is so great!" They go around. Everyone gets a circle jerk, and then they just print it to screen. Like they don't ever stop to think about if this happens. What does that imply? What are the consequences of this? I don't know. It sounds cool, and it makes Moraine look like a girl boss, so that's it. No second draft needed.
They literally do a Last Jedi and remove a guy that was about to kill Lan.
Yeah.
Like, they remove... They creative edit because the guy is swinging down on Lan's back, getting ready to kill him, and they just... Boop. He's gone.
Or the fact that, like, Rand is supposed to proclaim himself or do something that, like, cements the whole idea he's the dragon, but no, he has to cower up in the tower, and, like, Moraine has to make a freaking Gandalf dragon, like it's freaking, like, Bilbo Baggins' 11th birthday. And,
that's
like,
my main thing, is they've got 2 books to pull from, 2 amazing finales of books, and yet they don't incorporate any of it.
Hey, David, how do you
Rand doesn't do a single damn thing in this show. What has he done to proclaim himself the dragon? He doesn't do anything. Moraine has to make that symbol so that people recognize he's a dragon. They don't do and they even reference it in the show. They're like, "Oh, he's fighting across the sky," and they say the quote twice. They didn't do it. Why do you say the quote if you don't do it?
You mentioned, Matt, the one moment that he actually gets in the show is blowing the horn, and it's set up in a way that it's selfish.
Yep.
It's him. Yes. Oh, there's people.
Yes, you're right.
It's supposed to be a moment of absolute desperation where everyone is going to die, and so he looks down. He's like, "Wait a second, I have the Horn of Valyr. Screw it," and he blows it. In this, it's there's people I can't get past. I could be sneaky. Let's just blow the horn.
I was saying before too. It's like, well, it's obviously not the only path up that tower because Perrin ends up there. Freaking Elaine and Nynaeve end up up there.
They all just teleport up to the top of the tower.
I mean, how did they get up there? Did they walk through the battle real carefully, dodging, and then they're like, "Oh, we made it up
to the top of the tower"?
No.
He does.
Does he?
Yeah. Remember, he fucking.
Oh yeah, he does. He's the first one up there. Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, he spears right. He does the.
Yeah.
Oh no, Min's. We just destroyed Min's whole character.
That's so dumb. And the way that like Rand fights Ishii, it's like I don't know why
God.
Ishii just kind of goes like this, and Rand walks up to him like, "What the fuck was that?"
He walks up and stabs him.
But guys,
no one moves.
You don't understand. Ishmael wanted to die in this scene because he's tired of. Like, do you understand that what happened there is exactly what he doesn't want? He is now killed, and the wheel is still intact, which means guess what? He gets to be reborn again to start over, which is exactly what he does not want.
Which they don't even bother mentioning in the show, but the last time we had any kind of scene, it was him and Lanfear talking about, I don't know if Rand's ready. I don't know if he'll join our side, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, you're riding his dick, and he said you don't love you 50 times, but like now he is like pussy whipped and following you around. So like,
his whole plan.
Him. Like, what is your thing?
The whole point of that was supposed to convince Rand to join the dark side.
Yep.
How does any of what happened convince Rand to join the dark side? They needed, I guess, maybe the betrayal of getting stabbed by your own friend, maybe.
Well,
but
he actually very specifically says a line when he's talking to Pat and Fane. The only way Rand will swear to the Dark One is if he believes that doing so is the only way that will stop his friends from swearing to the Dark One. Right. So that's why Ishii is trying to convince Matt that he's evil and is trying to convince Perrin that he's evil. But if I'm Ishii here, I'm just kind of thinking to myself, all right, what if
that's so dumb? You just need to pull a freaking Palpatine from like episode 3.
Yeah, we're just gonna torture Matt until Rand agrees. Like,
Shamael tried to kill Rand earlier in the episode. No way, he just gave up. Yeah. None of it makes sense. It's so inconsistent. They don't know what they're doing. They say things and then contradict them and then do what they want to do anyway. They're writing the show backwards. It's it's silly.
And if we take them at their word, that means that Rand's 2 moments in the season finales of the show was killing Ishii who wanted to die.
Yep.
Both season finales ended with Rand killing Ishii, going, "Kill me, bro!" Like
no fight.
There's just nothing. Yeah. These people are so useless.
How about
both confrontations were Rand and Ishamael standing there doing nothing.
I'm curious because I want to know David's reaction to some of this because I know we've done it.
We've done book 4 now.
How did you feel about Turok getting done dirty and just getting nuked with the 1 power?
Yeah.
I mean, what do you say, right? It's like, and you know what? They've actually, apparently there's an article floating around out there.
I was going to bring this up.
Where Rafe himself says, well, Rand hasn't learned any sword forms, so it'd be sort of stupid for them to have a sword fight. So we just had to kill him.
Whose fault is that, Rafe Judkins?
But also, you do imply that he has learned because he has that pseudo conversation with Lan about the different.
Heron crosses the courtyard.
Wait,
you don't know your forms.
He actually learned stuff from his crazy friend Errol in the sanatorium. Remember, he was telling him.
Did he learn them or did he not learn them? And then if he didn't learn them, whose fault? Like you said, whose fault is that? You're the fucking showrunner. Have him do some sword forms. It's like
it's ridiculous.
What weave did Rand? Oh, when he kills everybody? Yeah, no,
that was such a non-moment. You could just cut that from the episode and lose nothing.
It just like it builds up this tension, and then just like what for? Rand.
That's end game. That's end game Rand though. Like personality-wise, that's when he's almost given up on humanity, and he's just trying to get to the last battle. And so that's the point where he would have done something like that.
Yeah.
I also love. This means if he was capable of doing this, why didn't he do it when the Sul'dam were walking Egwene? Like, he just fucking watched her walk.
And yeah, when did he learn that weave?
Yeah.
It's never literally the last time he practiced was with
which wasn't even practicing. He was with Logain, and he just drew a bunch of the one power, and then he threw up and fell down.
Can you hear me now? Okay, yeah, good job.
Well,
Didn't teach him anything.
Well, guys, he did the magic.
Oh no, sorry. Lan taught him.
Yeah, Lan taught him how to do the cut the knot weave. So Lan must have taught him how to do that while they were walking in the ways, following Lanfear, the Forsaken. The good guys are following the Forsaken around like a puppy dog. Yeah, so that's where Lan taught him the weave of magic missiles. And don't think it's a coincidence that Ishii was using the same weave on top of the freaking tower to not kill Egwene. It's going to be one of those. Well, Louis Theron knew it, so he knew it. It's like you have not earned the right to say that.
No,
you have not shown that any of that is true. It's all bullshit.
I guarantee you, Rand is not going to get out of that.
You guys, let's be real. Rand will put himself in the box.
I've been in.
Wait. Rafe claimed that the Tuok fight is one of the things they had from book 3.
That wasn't a fight.
Yeah, so I actually watched this. He said it was a combination of 2 scenes. He said it was the combination of the Turok fight and then the scene where Rand murks all the Dark Friends in book 3 and arranges their bodies in the kneeling half circle. If you watched, all the bodies collapsed and were kneeling on their knees.
Yeah.
So it's great because it perfectly encapsulates neither scene.
Right.
Yeah.
Like it has neither the emotional payoff of the sword fight nor the horrifying realization of the.
Yeah.
Well, that's the biggest.
Why didn't he do that against Swan Sanche?
Look, it's one of those. It's that's the hugest problem with what's going on with the show is they do that shit and they go, well, it's this scene and that scene from the book, so it's from the books. It's like,
you're right.
Stop it. No, it's not. Stop
His
saying
sole
that.
motivation for going there was to rescue Egwene, and then he just watches her leave.
Yep.
Yeah, but so much of this episode was so contrived. Like Moraine being there, taking her freaking sweet time, and then all of a sudden she shows up, and then on a hunch she guesses correctly that they're shielding Matt on top of this tower that you can barely see.
Do you love that we got that moment twice? We got it with Nynaeve, and then we got the same moment.
I know. They're like, oh yeah, it must be Rand up there.
So original.
You got it right, but what's your reasoning for that?
There you go. Rand can't beat Turok without training, but Egwene can fight Ishii no
I'm
probs.
just curious why even Egwene is at the White Tower. It's obviously she doesn't have anything to learn.
She don't need to be, right?
Nynaeve?
I know.
Egwene,
what about
does
anybody know if Ingtar was actually a dark friend or not?
I don't think he was.
Nynaeve hasn't learned anything, and Egwene doesn't have anything to learn. Right. So about the dark friend, is he a dark friend or not? That is a good question.
He's not.
I think they're going with he's not a dark friend, and that line of dialogue earlier in the season was just an Easter egg for book readers.
Well, because it's like they show the Shinar at the stupid social, whereas the only place we get any Trollocs this season, by the way. We had that little Trolloc thing where they were so happy with how great the Trollocs were, and they had the removable horns and all that.
The pedophilia metaphor,
just to have no Trollocs in the rest of the season. Well, no Trollocs. It's just fades after that, right?
Yep.
There's a few fades, a few times. No Trollocs. But it's I lost my train of thought. But because they have the Shinar. They showed the Shinar.
They showed the Shinar,
dress.
and then they showed his dead body when they were chasing Panafane.
Yeah, and it's like, okay, well, I guess
that was a dumb fake out because it wasn't even Ingtar. It was just some other dude that ended up dying. That's so stupid.
Okay, so you know how I said, what Rand did in the season finales of episodes 1 and 2?
It's identical.
Where all he did was kill a guy who wanted to die. Mm-hmm. Let's now contrast that to what Egwene has done in the season finales. Egwene has won Tarwin's Gap, healed the dead,
destroyed an entire army of Trollocs.
Yep.
Yes, saved herself from the Damani collar.
Single combat with Ishmael.
With Ishii. Yes, that is one of these characters is the main character in the books, and the other is the showrunner's favorite character.
Yes,
Dare to guess which one is
Yes,
which.
thank you. That's what I was saying from the beginning. He's come right out and said, Egwene is my favorite character. By the end of episode 3, I'm saying it here, she will be the Dragon Reborn.
I think they're doing the 5-headed dragon. I think they're going to do it.
I think it's headed that direction too.
I think they're all part of the dragon, and Rand is just the part of the dragon that can channel.
Don't they need to pop a 6 head for Elaine?
Probably.
Come on, do we think Perrin could do anything at all?
Perrin's done nothing but murder. You're right.
He does nothing. He follows the dogs around and he just sits there with his mouth open.
That was there was a lot of stupidity in this episode, but the Perrin shit was just the most egregious. Turning him into a cold-blooded murderer and in a moment that doesn't even work for people who haven't read the books. It's just an absolute assassination of his character.
That forced reunion with him and the questioner, I don't remember his name.
So dumb.
It was just like, remember this from season 1? Here's the moment of tension that we're immediately going to just toss out the window because they leave.
But then it's like, is Valda really trying to kill him or not? Because he's got the knife to his neck with his hand under the knife for like a minute. It's like, are you trying to kill him? Because you could just do it. You could kill him.
But he had to tell him that he wanted to kill him first.
And then it's just like, oh god,
it's so dumb. It's so how many episodes are they does Ishii sit there by Sarath looking at Perrin, knowing what Perrin is and who he is, and does he do shit?
Every single scene just opens with random sexual tension.
Yep.
And just it's just the show is just filth.
Perrin's eyes really
it's degenerate filth.
His eyes turned back again.
I thought they stayed gold on the tower.
No, I'm pretty sure they're back to
freaking
normal.
Min is a dark friend. I remember freaking Lad peeing on a tree and the fucking water threesome and
Min's character's ruined. Her visions don't count. They're wrong. So why is she so hell-bent to get rid of them when they're not accurate? Because even though Matt Matt javelined him, he didn't stab her. Your vision was wrong.
It's a pink, moist, supple flower.
Oh my god, that was so disgusting.
So gross.
Now I'm kind of curious. By the book definition of a dark friend, how many of our main characters?
Every single one.
Well, Perrin hasn't
Perrin
hasn't interacted with anyone and sworn to the dark, but he's definitely a dark friend.
Yes.
He's not a dark friend. He's just evil. Okay,
yeah,
Perrin's evil. Matt is 100% a dark friend. Min is a dark friend.
Rand
is a dark friend.
Rand is a dark friend. Moraine is a dark friend.
Swan Sanche is a dark friend.
Is a dark friend. Swan Sanche is a dark friend.
What about Lan?
Lan is working with Moraine and working for dark friends.
That's
not directly himself.
Well, the show's told us
he
that
walked through the ways with Lanfear.
The show's told us that you don't really have to swear, but if you talk to somebody who has sworn, that you can become a dark friend because Leandrin forced Min to be a dark friend even though she didn't want to be. So you can now be a dark friend by just who you know. So
but Lanfear's not a dark friend anymore because apparently she
swore to the light. So so and didn't get obliterated. So apparently she's redeemed.
Yeah, so
she can never be a dark friend. She's a victim of Lucerne and whatever she was doing.
I know. That's another one of those problems.
Lanfear is just the good guy now. It's so dumb.
Well, and that's the problem. That's another one of those problems, and why I think that they just wrote themselves into a corner, and that Ishmael was supposed to be the dark one in the show. Because if Lanfear said anything about light help me, light help this person, the dark one would rip her in fucking 2 million pieces.
She'd be dead, instantly.
She'd be dead.
Do you like? Apparently, she was also just playing 12-dimensional chess. Like the entire finale was because of Lanfear.
I thought they were inseparable. Like I thought she loved Ishvi. Why did she betray him so hard? If they were all like, Why is she betraying him so hard if they're so close?
I don't know. And also there was nothing to give Ishamael any hint that she didn't betray him in the first place.
Oh, you're right.
Comes up and he's like, "Oh yeah, it looks like she betrayed me."
Well, no, she tells him, "I brought Rand."
Right.
And he's like, "The fuck are you? Why did you do that?"
And it's just
I know. Look, why are they worried about turning Rand? Rand is so pussy whipped and simping so hard. He just follows you everywhere.
Can I say I'm really quite tired of all the bullshit strutting into the room that Lanfear does. It was fine one or two times, but now every scene she's just doing her little.
Yeah.
It's like, can you stop? This is really. It's
Rafe Judkins' wet dream, and
I don't know why
not going to stop doing
Mars. I don't know why Lanfear enjoys Mars so much, but like that's her favorite place in Tar is Mars. I don't get it, but it's, and then Mogan Dean. You know, Mogan Dean
at the end.
Oh,
hi, I'm Mogan Dean. I'm the spider, like herd eater. Like I am some, like I don't know.
The spider was a metaphor. The spider was a metaphor, guys. And like now she's just literally a spider.
It'd be like Varys in Game of Thrones whispering to spiders and going, "Go, spiders, bring me back the goodies."
Or he has
I'm gonna be up in my web.
He has webs embroidered on his eunuch outfit, right? I'm the spider.
The most ridiculous part, though, is you're trying to do this creepy thing with her webs and stuff like that, and then she's got the most ridiculous haircut. I was just laughing the whole time.
But I loved that this show wrote itself into a corner so hard. Like they ended it, and they were like, "Okay, well, how are we going to get Lanfear to stop hanging around and controlling Rand?" And they just went, "Well, fuck it. Mogadine is going to scare her away from doing it. So now Rand can do things in the next scene." Yeah,
Mogadine. Like this is what we're in store for the next season.
The weakest of the Forsaken.
You got Samael. You got Ravine. Ravine put you right into Camelin. Why wouldn't you put Ravine in that room or something and freaking like.
Because they wanted girl power. They want girl power.
Oh, yeah, no, and that's what it was.
I'm still stuck on the fact that like they chose who could be released, and like this is the team you pick, guys. Wow.
You know what? You know what makes women more empowered is when you have really, really strong male characters, or like an incredible villain, and they overcome them with smarts.
Yes.
That's empowerment. And this is just Fox empowerment, or sorry, I pronounce it Fox, but it's faux empowerment handed to these characters on silver platters because whammon.
Why first, what did Lanfear accomplish for Ishii for what he chose to release her first and only her, apparently.
She did nothing for him unless he wanted to die.
Why did she have to hatch out of a blood egg and the other ones he just beat the Quendalar?
Because blood calls blood eggs.
He just beat up the unbreakable material with a club and they were free, but the other one she had to hatch from an egg.
So they could do that like parallel scene with her like sticking her hand out when she's riding Rand.
Yep.
I love, like, with as much as a ridiculous simp as Rand is, how long would Lanfear have had to have been fucking him before he was ready to swear to the dark? Like, I mean, if they would have just left it for 3 months, Rand would have sworn to the dark just to get some fucking pussy. Like, I mean, am I wrong here? Like,
maybe they shouldn't have advertised their plan written in blood.
Yep.
But that was how Lanfear got Moraine into the picture. Why she wanted Moraine in the picture?
Remember, this whole episode, this whole season is
you're right. She's
plan.
The one that gave it to Moraine. I forgot about that.
Yes,
Why?
The whole season is supposed to be Lanfear's manipulation of everybody.
She's trying to
the best.
She's trying to get, but it's because in addition to wanting Rand pussy whipped, she also wanted to get all of the other Forsaken out of the picture.
Right.
No, that scene was ridiculous too. That scene was so ridiculous. You're like, oh, I want you to dump a whole bunch of Quaindiar in the middle of the ocean. It's like, oh, that's a fortune's worth of Quaindiar. Like, I'll make it worth your while with this little teeny purse of gold.
Yeah.
It's like, I mean,
bitch, open a gateway.
Open a gateway. You just said you could do it.
She can travel. Why does she just it? What does she need Bill Dullman for? Why is Bill Dullman in this season? Why wasn't he in season 1?
I'm still trying to figure out why did she pull Moraine in?
It's because
she needed her to proclaim him with the dragon. She's the only one that knows the fire dragon weave, bro. I mean, come on.
Why didn't she do the fire dragon weave?
Can we talk about the fire dragon? And I said this on the last stream, but this is one of my aside from Perrin, this is one of my most hated moments because especially because I was willing to be forgiving. I was going to give them the benefit of the doubt in that. Everyone was complaining about, oh, the fight in the sky is just going to be a fight on a tower. And but I can be understanding with a show that has a budget and especially the low bar, everything else has been crappy. And even if you had the money, doing a fight in the sky could be very, very hard to pull off and make it look good. So going into this, I was understanding and I was willing to give them that point that, okay, maybe the fight in the sky is just going to be two people on top of a tower channeling so hard that the display is just legendary. And everybody's wings made of fire and Rand looks like a dragon because he's channeling his butt off.
Right.
I would have. In fact, that's probably what I would have done if I was in charge. How am I going to do the sky fight? Okay, let's put them on a tower, but but it's going to look really freaking cool.
You know what? Wait. You know how we could have done a sky fight? You guys remember on the Pirates of the Caribbean when you're going into the or it's like at the end, I think, when you go to the there's a galleon and they're right before you get in the town and there's people on there's a smoke machine and there's silhouettes projected into the smoke. Yeah. It's that simple.
Exactly. Exactly.
Oh sure. Yeah. I'm not saying you can't do a sky fight, right? You could do a sky fight and do it well. But I was understanding.
Yeah.
They didn't even do that.
Right.
They walk up to each other and get stabbed, and then Moraine goes, I'm going to do a dragon thing.
Oh, we got to put a dragon here.
We sort of knew that. Sorry.
It's just another moment taken away from Rand.
Well, yeah, we sort of knew that was going to happen because that's the exact same thing that happened at the end of episode 1. They took Rand's fight away. He was having a cry session with Ishmael. So we've been talking about this, how there was going to be no fight. It was going to be on the tower, which I get. It's I don't like it, but like you said, if they did some stuff right and there was an actual fight that was melting the tower and there was fire going everywhere, fine.
It would have been more interesting if they did the fight from book 3 and then ended it with them on the tower just channeling to death.
Channel a single thing at Ishmael.
Nope,
he didn't channel one.
He channeled into his sword and put it into his Shishamael. Does that count?
I mean, I guess that's what he did.
I guess, and then he melts his father's sword and discards it like
it's a piece of
shit. That was the other thing that pissed me off. And someone's his sword is melted. It's that's his father's sword. That hurts him. It's a big deal that his sword is destroyed. That's why he keeps conjuring it with fire, because it sort of makes him think he still has it.
Yep.
But it means nothing to him here.
What happens to left the fucking thing outside?
What happens to the sword in the books?
Moraine has now killed more people with Rand's sword Moraine has used Rand's sword more
She
times than Rand
has.
The sword ends up melting. Pretty much, he stabs Ishmael, and the sword melts.
Is that in book 2?
And then he ends up. I forget if he keeps the hilt and he
yeah.
conjures the blade, or if he just conjures the whole thing. But he conjures it into a flame sword.
Yeah.
He summons it. Yeah. He doesn't keep the hilt, does he? I don't remember. I can't remember if he keeps the hilt.
I don't think he does.
Yeah. But he just conjures it because it makes him feel comfortable.
Right. He is always conjure. He's always. That's his like channeling crutch.
That's his
connection. A sword and uses it.
And it's his connection to Tam.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who's Tam? You said? I don't know.
Yeah, right.
No,
that's the guy.
POV of every citizen on the street. Why is there a fire dragon on top of an empty tower that used to have demonic?
Oh yeah, Tam's that guy that likes Egwene, right? Is that?
Well, no, he was. You probably know Tam best from Nynaeve's Vision Quest.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Because he likes it. Well, and then like the deleted scene where Rand's mother would have loved him.
Yes, you can now actually say that Tam has now had more scenes with Egwene and Nynaeve than he has with Rand.
Yep. Probably. I think that's fair.
Yeah.
Rand is literally luggage. Like,
yep. Well, so is Perrin too. Perrin just
he's like an accessory dog.
Yeah. Actually, I'm convinced that there is a rule in this show's show Bible that says men are not allowed to lead a group of people.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, they're always walking behind.
Yes, behind the woman. And like, Steve, I know I keep hammering on this. I probably said this on fucking 5 different streams with you. But the 5 ride forth being Avienda, Bane, Shion, Hopper, and Perrin.
Well, you have to keep bringing it up because it's so fucking ridiculous that it's true.
Five ride forth.
Five ride forth return. And the only one who
Hopper's
didn't return
dead.
was Hopper.
I mean, you have to keep talking about it because that's what they were thinking. They're like, this will be cool. This will be an Easter egg. 4 of them go in, and one of them dies. 5 ride forth. Easter egg, Easter egg, Easter egg. You have to keep talking about it because it's so stupid. And you're right. The moment you said that, I'm like, what? What are we doing?
I don't think that the shield is supposed to be the Foxhead medallion. The shield is the Shore Rider's way of cucking Perrin.
Yeah. I will say Alexander Nurenden in this chat is a fucking legend. This dude has been going off. But no, Alexander Nurenden, I would give my left nut. I would watch every episode of this show if Perrin just wears that shield around his neck like he's fucking Flavor Flav.
Just gets a chain.
Just fucking
what's chain, up, boys? Come
like a fucking truck towing chain.
We would need a scene where he's fighting like a gray man though, and like sticking the shield onto him while it burns.
Can I ask a real quick, not season 2 question? Do you think we are going to? Because I have this sneaking suspicion that the beginning, like episode 1 of season 3, they're gonna sack the Stone of Tyr with Rand and the 3 Aiel bitches, and they're gonna go get Kalendor.
They open with Kalendor.
The stone is gonna fall to Avienda, Bane, and Chien and Rand. It's just be like, all right, I got a sword now. I got a crystal sword.
I think they might just skip over Tyr entirely because he said season 3 is book 4.
Well, I mean, he said season 1 was book 1, but
he said season 2 was book 2 and 3.
If the girls are like, first of all, I really don't think that we'll get like a season 3 of this. I mean, like the amount of money that they've sunk into it and the amount of money that they have to put forward through like things like Rings of Power. The viewership is so low, and people are like, yeah, it's tracking better, but like
low.
The amount of people like commenting is like nothing. It's like barely like.
What do you mean? There's people talking about the show everywhere, like Perrin Golden Eyes saying
other Kevin.
The episode 2 finale. Season 2 finale was everything I could have hoped for. Yes, it was different from the books, but for me, that's what made it better.
Bruh.
Oh gosh.
Bruh.
Talk about simping for likes. Like, I mean, like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I really freaking love the finale for book 2 and 3. But
so good.
Oh gosh,
it's so wonderful, and I loved it.
Yeah, it's.
I really one of these days.
Wait,
with the
okay.
parents.
Wait, what was that one on the bottom? Okay, the finale was not as bad as it seemed to me. 5 a.m. on Friday. Oh God, fuck these people. I'm sorry, I had to fuck these people.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just got to go back into the Perrin thing. The whole from the books, the White Cloaks, Perrin, Horn of Valir arc, like the White Cloaks in the books are kind of there selfishly, right? They're sent there by Pedro Nile, trying to whose entire goal is to
get rid of.
He wants to be the king of the world, so that when the last battle comes, he can win it.
Right, well, which is part of it too, to get rid of Jeffrem, because Jeffrem's starting to get too much.
Too big for his britches.
Jeffrem's starting to get too popular, so it's two birds, one stone. You know, so if he's able to do it and win the battle, then
so the White Cloaks, the White Cloaks are pretty arguably bad guys,
yes.
and they're there selfishly, and then all of a sudden the Shan Chan show up, and they're just there. And they're like, okay, what do we do now? And Joffrey Bornholt, like, basically has this wonderful arc where he's like, well, we got to protect the people. And so he gives up his own life fighting off the Shan Chan, and it's beautiful. And then the last minute, Matt blows the horn to save everyone's lives. And it's heartbreaking because you as the reader know that Joffrey made a heroic choice and gave up his own life to save human life, and his son, all Dane Bornholt knows is that Perrin was involved and his daddy died, right. and so Joffrey or Dane, for like the rest of the books, is hunting Perrin down because
Child Bayar gives him some really bad information.
Yes.
So it's not even Dane's fault.
It's not. It's not. Yeah. But it's heartbreaking. It's called good storytelling. It's heartbreaking because you as the viewer know stuff that the characters don't, and it's not just a case of, oh, if they would have talked, they could have hashed it out, right? It's literally like forces of evil in play to cause chaos, right? And so Dane Bornholt is hunting down Perrin, who has a track record of killing White Cloaks. It was in defense, but it's he said, she said. The White Cloaks don't know, right? The only people who know that it was self-defense are the people that he killed.
Right.
Okay? They were there unreasonably, kill Hopper, and he defends himself, right? And that's so Perrin is this haunted character of, I really didn't want to kill those people. I never want to be forced to kill people. And he's constantly struggling between the axe and the hammer. Do I create or do I destroy? But I keep getting put in these situations where I have to destroy, and I really, really don't like it. And then Dane is just hell-bent on revenge, thinking this guy murdered his dad, even though we know it's not the case. And then the show... And that's a huge payoff that happens in later in the books, right? He literally gets put on trial for all of this crap, okay? And it's wonderful. And then the show gives us, Perrin just murdered a dude.
Dane is fully justified in hunting Perrin down and bringing him to trial to have him executed.
Yep. I hope he is executed. I hope that he's brought to trial, and I hope that he's killed.
He's a murderer, 100%. He should be. He's 100% a murderer. And it's like the show. Like I don't understand if that's supposed to be a hero moment for Perrin in the show. Is that supposed to be Perrin's hero moment that he decides to? Like, I don't understand.
It was played off like it. Yeah, it was played off like it for sure. There was dramatic music. It was, he's doing this thing. These writers,
and then he hits him the one time, and then he starts just beating the shit out of him.
He keeps hacking him to pieces.
He's hacking him, and it's like, This is not a heroic moment. This is a serial killer being born.
People like Rafe Judkins have no morals. They do not know what good and evil is, so it's impossible for them to write about it.
Mm-hmm.
And I will say they're the weird people who call their kid or their animals their fur babies, and they absolutely put the value of a dog's life over a human's life.
Of course, they genuinely thought that was justified.
Yeah. It's like you have to remove yourself. Yes, Perrin has this connection to Hopper. Jeffrem knows nothing about that. He sees a wolf attacking his soldier.
Yep.
That's it. And you know what? That's bad because I need soldiers to fight the Shan-Chan and take the city to protect the people. So I need to remove the wolf. Yeah, go ahead.
Loyal just shows up. Look what I found.
Hey, he did it with the horn. So
that's the joke, David. That's the joke.
I know.
No, it'll be a brand new quest from Logain's garden level. Like Rand has to get Logain a bowl of blueberries and a bottle of wine and 3 shiny pennies, and then he can. Logain will tell him how to who to talk to. But old woman in some village will have Calendar, right?
Yeah, Joffrem literally knows he's going to become a martyr, and he does it anyway because he's a good person.
Well, the fact that most of the white folks actually live, anyways, even though they were supposed to be going in against overwhelming odds and probably all dying. I'm pretty sure they do all die in the book, don't they? Or
they're all slaughtered
because there's nobody else to contradict Byers' wrong telling of the story. Yeah.
Yep. They show up and rather than doesn't he have a conversation with Perrin and they're like, "Hey, you're a wanted fugitive, but I see that there's something more important right now, and so I'm going to do that."
They don't have a conversation. He sees them across a field or something,
right?
If I recall correctly.
Okay.
And one of them wants to go after him, and dude's like, "Why the fuck?"
Right, it's the underling. It's the underling who's
Byar.
Who's it's Byar.
Yeah, Byar's a piece of shit.
Yep.
Byar makes it out though, right?
Yeah, because
he's the one that lies about
leaves Byar behind. Yeah.
He leaves Shell Byar out of the battle to tell the record of what happened.
And he does it, and he had one job.
He got it he gets it completely wrong. Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be interesting to explore in a show. Oh wait, sorry, my bad. We're not
have we talked about the arrow yet?
Which one?
Yeah, briefly.
The one that hits Elaine.
Her leg or the catching? The catching of the arrows or the leg arrow?
The leg arrow.
The random leg arrow. Why
defining characteristic is that she heals people, and she can't even do that.
Why did she even get shot?
Because she's casually walking. She's not.
Because they needed a reason. They needed a reason for Nynaeve to not get to Egwene, so Egwene could save herself.
Yeah,
that's it. You're asking these questions and you're forgetting that the entire season, this show is written backwards. They already know the girl power moments that they want to get to, and everything else is just okay. This is there so that we can make that happen.
The entire thing, so I've talked about this before. They have 2 books to work on, right? They have 2 story arcs. They completely throw out any tension from the hunting of the horn, right? There's nothing from the Great Hunt, right?
Yeah, did you see his excuse for that? Rafe Judkins on Twitter said, "Yeah, I would have loved. Trust me, I really would have loved to tell the story of the 3 boys hunting the horn, but because of the recasting thing and the ridiculous, stupid choice that we made at the end of season 1, we weren't able to tell that story."
Why not?
But shut up! It was your choice to destroy Matt's character in season 1. You had a perfect excuse. He was injured. You could have said he's too sick to come.
Yeah, and then so
I would have been forgiving of that, right? Even though we all know that you fired the actor, right?
We have given a million ways that they could have got Matt right back on track immediately, and they just chose to do the worst.
You could have had Lanfear show up and teleport him to Faldara at the beginning of season 2, and then they all could have chased the horn. Okay,
Or just have Brandon Perrin chase the horn and have Matt fucking
Exactly.
do his Dragon Reborn arc.
Exactly. Yes, you could have adapted books 2 and 3 perfectly.
That's what
you could have had Matt and Perrin do the chasing, and then you could have had the girls doing the channeling training. And you could have had that awesome reveal with Swan Sanche. You could have done that a book early, sent them on their quest to hunt Dark Friends.
But they didn't even do that. They threw
that out. Have a cool quarterstaff fight as he's leaving, trying to get out of the city. Yeah.
But it's fine, guys. We needed to have 6 fucking episodes of Moraine's family.
That was another lie. When people asked him about the iconic quarterstaff fight scene, he said, "Yes, it will be different. We're going to adapt it in a way that's more believable." That turns out to be
a bunch of warders.
Fighting 2 warders.
Fighting with a sword. That was it. It's like, you obviously don't know what the fuck you're. What do you mean believable? He took on 2 swordsmen with the freaking staff. That's highly possible.
That is standard. That is as believable as it gets. A spear wins against swords 80 times, 80% of the time.
Well, and Alex is right. He takes out Gawain immediately.
Yeah, Gawain isn't even ready for it. He basically just whaps him.
He bum rushes him. Whacks him, and then he has a reach advantage. That's how combat works. That's very believable.
Yeah.
Yep. And it's
absolutely ridiculous. So, out of the 2 books, they throw out all the tension. The only thing from the books is the Shan-Chan, and
there's 0 driving force this entire season.
Exactly.
It's a mystery box, and then things show up at the end.
The whole purpose of the season is twofold. One, sad Moraine doesn't have her powers, and we're going to get her powers back. And 2, Egwene is super powerful, and she doesn't need anyone to save herself. She can save herself from these evil Shan-Chan that enslave people. That's all. That's it.
And think of what it was replaced with. Book 2's driving force is, hey, you know that dagger that you're poisoned with, and if you don't have it with you, you're literally going to die like in a matter of days. A bad guy stole it. You got to hunt it down, or you're dead. And then everyone else is like, well, we got to help Matt. Let's go. That's the driving force for book 2, and the driving force for the girls is, hey, we freaking got kidnapped. And now we got to escape, okay? And then book 3, the driving force is, hey, there's this evil force that I can't tell anyone about, and the only people I can trust are these girls. Go hunt down the freaking Black Aja. Matt's motivation is, hey, the girls are in trouble. You have a choice to either save yourself or save them. Choose. And Perrin's motivation is, I don't quite. He's just running.
Crazy ass best friend.
Yeah,
Rand has said, "F it."
Rand is saying, "Okay, everyone has told me I'm the Dragon Reborn, and everyone is trying to push me in different places on this chessboard. I need to figure out for myself if this is true. So." What do I do? Let me see. Give me those prophecies of the dragon really quick. Let me pick the most ridiculous one I can think of. Oh, I'm going to cause the fall of Tyr. Let's do that one. So he goes to Tyr to protect his friends and say, hey, if I'm the dragon, I'm going to steal Kalendor. And if I'm not, I'll be dead, but my friends will be safe. That's what we could have freaking had.
Yep.
You know what was favorite part about that totally goes back to that stuff is like in episode 7 where Rand meets Siobhan and she's like, what have you been doing for 6 months? You know nothing. You're not.
Whose fault is that, Rick Judkins, you moron?
Well, and top of that, on top of that, her solution is, okay, I'm going to bind you and throw you in a dungeon so you can keep not learning anything till the last battle, and then we'll throw you out on the field to do what? Nothing still.
Exactly. It's nonsensical.
It's so silly.
It's
like
combat is one guy
so
just standing still.
Yeah,
my heart literally
even his attacking on the thing. He's just sending these missiles from the same direction. Moraine is freaking 10 miles away, her weaves are going all sorts of crazy, killing all these ships or whatever, and a Shawmeo can't just like send a few missiles around Egwene's shield. He just like keeps. It's just so stupid.
Yeah, I love the
It's not even a shield on him. It's like a physical force field.
It's a fucking bubble shield, like in fucking Halo.
Like what?
Yeah, it's so dumb.
Take out Moraine.
I'm just looking at my notes here. So another thing that freaking made me laugh. We've been knocking the stupid design of the binkies for the Shan-Chan, right? For
yes.
The Damani. I assumed that there was something magical holding them in, like muzzling them, right? No, she just turns around and spits it out defiantly.
It's literally a pacifier.
They just choose.
We make jokes about it the entire freaking season. It's a binky, guys. That's it.
There's nothing holding them in. It's not a muzzle. It's just there.
Shame on me for thinking it was some kind of ball gag. Like
I know. I just I wanted to give them a benefit of a doubt. I was like, they're doing, but no.
It's a mouth guard.
It's probably
all shoulder pads, and it came with free mouth guards. So
it's probably yet again one of Rafe Judkins' fantasies in his Spank Bank, where he likes diaper play.
Actually, right? I was like, I call this, and I said when I first saw it, it's a metaphor for silencing women. And then I found a clip of the costume designer talking about that, and that's exactly what it was. It's like we want to show the further silencing of their voices.
And that would have made sense if it was an actual muzzle or something.
But it's not. It's a binky.
And I guess.
Oh man, can you imagine how much more effective it would have been if they like actually slap a muzzle on them? Right?
Yeah.
They've got these straps on. Like that would be terrifying.
Yeah, I guess I'll even go a step further though and say I think one of the reasons it's so damn scary is they've beaten these women down so significantly that they actively see themselves as pets.
Yes.
So, you don't need to muzzle them because they're so well trained and so broken that you don't need to do it.
That's like the most horrifying aspect of the whole Domini thing. It's like
but in here,
the weapons that can't kill anything.
Relationship with her Damani.
What the fuck was that?
So I was in the bathroom and decided to. So we started to talk about the weapons that can't kill anything. Like Damani are literally bred or made to be weapons, trained to be weapons. They should know all the most powerful weaves to attack people and things and shield them and just destroy them. They're literally just female weapons. Point, shoot, dead. And I don't. Do Damani kill anything in the whole season?
I think
they kill some white cloaks.
White cloaks, yeah.
Sorry, Egwene kills some white cloaks.
Yep.
It's implied that they do some killing, but Egwene is the only one we're shown.
Mortar strikes and stuff. I don't know that they kill anything.
Yeah.
The little
they
girl
definitely
on
don't
the
kill
beach.
the yellow Aja.
On the beach, yeah.
They don't kill the yellow Aja healer who does the "I will cripple your bones," weave. Because
they captured her alive. Yeah. Well, they killed her warder.
Every once in a while, this show makes a great point, accidentally.
Yeah.
And the one he just commented on you mean women silence other women? Yes. Like every once in a while, the show is accidentally based as fuck because it's just bad at telling its message, and this is one of those great moments.
Well, that's the problem with the message is hypocritical. It can never be told correctly because it doesn't make sense. If you introduce a shred of logic, it all falls apart, and that's why the show is falling apart because it's impossible to make something good that is woke.
Yep, I will say I've made this joke, and I think I'm going to even
it contradicts itself.
Yeah. I'm even going to release a video on it that the Wheel of Prime show is trans. It is fundamentally a show about a dude, but it wants to be about women. So it
identifies as a woman.
Yes, it identifies as a woman's show. And it has this unfortunate appendage called Rand that just kind of hangs out there.
The unfortunate appendage, which is the entire story.
Yes. And it wants to cut it off, but it's afraid to.
Main character.
Yes. And
yeah.
Yes, it's
absolutely.
Yeah, it's so bad. I mean, I think it's funny, like saying like, oh, you couldn't tell a woke story. I mean, like I think that isn't exactly true. I think that they could. It's just that they can't really, like, they're not very good at telling original stories,
right?
And their whole idea is to subvert, demoralize, and deconstruct. So they always go for something that's already made, and they try to make it better, like what they think is better. Like, I mean, take for example, like one thing that like consistently knocks it out of the park, and this was something I studied in film school, and people don't really talk about because it's a real niche genre, but like there is a huge market for Christian and inspirational films. Mm-hmm. And those movies do really, really well. And recently, me and Alex watched one. It was a movie about George Foreman that was on Netflix or something, Ben?
No, I think it was on Prime Video rental.
Yeah, like we watched
it's on Netflix now, though. Yeah,
is it?
Okay. Yeah, wherever it was, we watched
$9.
You watched it?
Yeah, I watched,
it was a good movie, though. And the funny thing
I saw you guys tweeting about that one. What's it called?
Big George Foreman.
Big George Foreman. Yeah,
yeah, it's on like
Netflix.
I mean, it's definitely a movie that has a message, except that it conveys the message really well, where it's still entertaining and the story is still cohesive and it makes sense. And I'm like, you know, if the woke movies could just take a page from the Christian movies things, it's like they'd be able to tell the stories, like if they just focused on the story and not the propaganda and not deconstructing.
These people
like
aren't heroes to them, though. Like George Foreman was an incredible person, but the left doesn't see him as heroic.
Oh, I mean, I'm not talking about even having to like do a story about that, but if they did something where it's like an original piece of work where they're not trying to subvert something that's already created or to recreate something that already exists or remakes it or do a retelling of something like what they do with Star Wars and stuff. So
right.
Yep.
Well, it's a shame they didn't have a blueprint for a great story, huh?
Yeah, exactly. And two, you know, the Wheel of Time books has awesome, empowered female characters.
Yes, it does.
If you do it right, they're likable and they're powerful and they're awesome, right?
I don't know if I guess I say likable, but
well, they become likable eventually, right?
But Nynaeve at the end isn't bad.
There's a bunch of women that are okay. They're interesting to read if they're not like.
Min is great.
I ended up really liking Egwene's story arc. But by the end, it was like, oh, that was satisfying as heck.
When she died, I agree. The rest of it probably.
No, her the when she's getting.
I mean, I didn't not enjoy it
out of her by Elida, and then that come on, that was fun. I liked it. Yeah, I especially liked the moment where she meets with Rand as spoiler. No, I won't say the spoiler part. She meets David. You're good. Okay. I won't say the part that's a spoiler. But at the end of the books, she meets with Rand. Going into the meeting, assuming Rand is still a child, and she's going to go into it and put him in his place, and then they talk and she's completely humbled because she's like, oh, I forgot that I've grown so much as a person. I forgot that other people can grow too. And I was being biased. And she comes out of that meeting just completely put on her butt and on Rand's side. And it's wonderful.
I don't know if I'd go that far, but I do agree. That was one scene that I did like with the realization that, oh, there's levels to this shit. And I am very high level, but I'm not cosmic entity level.
The best part is he walks in that room and don't give 2 Fs and says, screw all of you. And then
but he puts her in her place so far. He gives her what she wants and convinces her not to do what she wanted to do with it.
Yeah.
And says, no, this is here. You're going to do what I want.
Yes.
And then she has to go and convince everyone else that he's right.
Yes.
It's great.
The moment when he walks in and his full-on Jesus powers are at full levels.
Mm-hmm.
It actually very much is biblical in the sense of she's supposed to be Jesus, which of the disciples is she? She's Saul, who is very much against Jesus's message, and Jesus walks in and says, "No, it's fine. You're on my team now." And he goes, "Oh shit, I guess I am on your team now. Fuck."
Yeah.
But yeah. So that no, you're right. Great scene there, and I don't really identify that as an Egwene moment. I throw that in the Zen
that is a
rant category. Moment. But
all right. But I mean, Nynaeve has some great girl power moments.
Oh yeah, but like, why do they want
the Logain stuff? You're like, oh, I just pissed myself. That was so cool.
Yeah. Somebody needs to go get Swan right now. Mm-hmm. I just did a bad.
I mean, Egwene does a lot of cool stuff in the dream world too, though.
Yeah,
I mean, her whole fight with
Don't ruin it if you.
It's good. It's really good.
No.
It's a good fight. And the stuff that she does with the wise ones.
I mean, and Elaine is cool too. I mean, it gets drawn out a little bit, but
she gets a lot of people killed.
She
gets a lot of people killed.
She's a queen. She slays, okay? And she's freaking hot.
The problem is she gets a lot of people killed, and she didn't have to.
She does a lot of really reckless and stupid shit.
She's learning from her mistakes, okay?
Yeah. It's because of those things in her stomach.
Yeah, because she's 18 and pregnant and retarded.
It was all those hormones.
I love the entire last 5 books is just Elaine saying, "I want to do this. I think it's a good idea," and then Brigitte and Avienda and all of her advisors are going, "No, that's a bad idea."
No,
she says,
that's
"Fuck
dumb.
it, send it," and immediately all sorts of people die. She does it like 4 times. It's fucking wild.
I know. I hate it so much, like in that part of books, but like earlier in the books, like she's a lot more interesting when she is not being such a little Miss Priss, and she does things that are kind of like resourceful and smart. But it really doesn't. It does not. That goes away real fast. Like after the circus stuff, like it's gone.
But what about second circus arc? That's another spoiler.
Like second.
These books are so fun. David, how far are you into book 4?
I had to stop to read Brandon Sanderson.
All right. Well, you need to hurry up and finish book 4.
I know.
You need to hurry up and finish book 4 so that you can hurry up and finish book 5 so that you can read book 6 so that we can talk about it.
Okay, sounds good.
Yes, Steve, I know you have a discount Stormbringer sword.
I do, apparently.
Hey,
you guys, okay.
Looks like some gourmet dessert over there, Robin. What is
Wow.
Oh, damn.
Hey, Easton putting like chocolate lines on it. You go, dude.
Hey, Easton, what are you doing?
I'm gonna sound a whole lot like Jared right now, but I really enjoy Brandon Sanderson while simultaneously completely understanding your guys' complaints about his writing style. I just think it's too much fun to not like.
I think that's exactly I get it. 100%. I get people that don't.
I think the thing that got me is just like listening to the books. It's like I'm reading the like novel adaptation of an anime.
Okay, but that's fun.
But it's not for everybody. I get that. So I understand.
Like anime in all fairness, so it's like I can see why people like it. I can understand.
And I think the reason that I like him so much is one of the things he's really, really good at is like the heroic sacrifice moment where like you get to the end of a book and someone has wanted something the whole time and they have to give it up to help people. He's really good at that moment. Like just basically the ending of Stormlight 1 where Bridge 4 has been working the whole time to escape. And that happened. We're good. You're good. You know what I'm talking about, though.
Dude,
that is like,
bro.
The greatest. Like I can't not love that, and he does that in every single book, and that's like my favorite thing.
Paladin just doesn't want to.
That's just my favorite thing in all of books. Like I like the Fellowship of the Ring more than I like Return of the King because it's got the moment in there where people, Return of the King is satisfying because it concludes the story, but Fellowship is more emotionally resilient to me because it has the moment where
Theoden, like
okay, I know it's good, I know, but to me,
so
my favorite fantasy nugget, okay, it's what gets me going. It's the moment where the characters give up everything, and they don't know if it's going to work out, right? You get Boromir, freaking his greatest redemption arc of all freaking time. You get Merry and Pippin seeing Frodo and figuring out what he's doing and knowing that they have to say goodbye to him basically forever and they have to let him go. And then you get the best moment in all of cinema freaking history, which is Frodo talking to Aragorn and him saying, "Oh, you got to leave." And then I would have gone with you to the end, to the very fires of Mordor. I'm crying right now just thinking of that freaking scene. Yeah. So that's my bread and butter.
That's not even the best. I would have gone with you to the end in that scene.
Which one are you talking about?
Boromir talking to Aragorn. I would have gone with you to the end, my brother, my captain.
It's better when Aragorn does it. It's better when Aragorn does it. It's better when Aragorn talks to Frodo and he says, "I would have gone with you the whole way, my little short boy." You guys are
arguing about what is better, which is odd because we're arguing so much these days about what is worse.
Yep.
Yeah. Remember when this used to be what nerds argued about?
Yes.
It's like Aragorn and Boromir.
You're an idiot for thinking that Boromir's death was better than the moment with Aragorn, you dumb idiot nerd. Can we please? I don't know what I would give to get back to the moment where we can argue about stupid crap and we don't have to just grind our
Enterprise of the Millennium Falcon, It's just,
or who is the biggest alpha chat in Middle Earth, like Feanor or like Fingolfin? Like, let's go debate.
Yeah. The part with Sam doesn't work as much. It's drawn out a little bit too much with him drowning. You're like, okay, all right, we get it. It's not that deep.
Look, there's like 3 moments back to back to back, and it's like they're all different people's best.
And the end, and then like when Sam and Frodo are like gonna freaking die, and then the Eagles come. The Eagles come when you do some? Yeah.
It's like okay. What's your favorite scene in Wheel of Time episode 8?
When it ends,
the part when Perrin axes the guy and murders him, or the fire dragon, or the totally dumb ass missiles. What's the standout scene in this show?
What are any heroic scenes? Are there any heroic scenes?
I
from
hate
season
all
2?
the main characters. Yeah, they all are terrible.
The closest that they could possibly get is Matt, but we've already gone over. It doesn't, like, if you just take it in isolation. Oh, he gets a heroic moment. It doesn't work in context, though.
Well, and then you see that thing he's got his mouth around, and you're like, what is happening?
Put down the olive oil dispenser.
He's blowing something, that's for sure.
Rachel Ray needs her thing back, dude. You stop ODing on olive oil. God damn. It's like
they for sure they want to make Egwene be the
center of attention.
But I mean her decisions are unlikable too,
Yep. Getting back to Sanderson, I want to get my rebuttal in here. I actually agree with you pretty much. The end of his books are pretty good.
They're great
when it comes with that pinnacle moment. I cannot stand them being 1,200 pages.
He needs an editor.
Down 450.
That's why the secret projects have been fun because they're short.
Okay, but
but I don't think the secret projects are nearly as good as the other stuff. I agree, at least for me. But
it's just like technical problems. Like, I'm a writer and I'm listening to these stories, and it's like they'll be sent like he's like, I don't even know if he's verbose. He just like writes a lot of stuff that's redundant. Like, it's like he will have like a really long sentence or something, and it's like you're trying to say something that could be expressed in like 4 words.
Yeah, sometimes he's a little repetitive.
There's so much there, and it's like your story would be so much more interesting and cohesive if you just took out all of this sort of like ruminating stuff. It's like he's very much about like having these sort of like team drama moments. Like, there's parts where 2 of the characters are riding on a ship together, and they're just basically talking about their weird problems and And the other thing I really have a beef with is this whole how everyone in his books has a mental illness, but I really don't think he's
that's a newer thing. Yeah.
And he just doesn't understand what it's actually like to have it.
Is just a super Chad. He don't have any mental illness. His mental illness is being awesome.
He just murders people.
This personality thing is so fucking ridiculous, especially because like I one of my really good friends had like dissociative identity disorder. So it's like the way he talks about it and the way it's in the book is like it doesn't even work like this. And it was like
it's the fantasy version of it. Yeah.
Well, I will say Adelin's mental disability is intentionally choosing to date someone with a debilitating mental disability, and when she says, just cut out all of the ruminating stuff. Ruminating stuff translates directly to Shalon. Like I have never.
Yeah.
Like, and the worst part was in this last one because I just finished Rhythm of War like yesterday. Man, I was begging for Shalon chapters just because Adolin was in it. And man,
Adolin's fun. Adolin's a lot of fun.
Kaladin got fucking depressing.
Kaladin needs to get back in the game, man.
Kaladin, Kaladin, book 4 Kaladin, that whole arc needed to happen a lot faster, and I understand why he didn't, because like it had to do with the finale. But book 1 Kaladin, I think, really works. And then 2 and 3 gets interesting because he's growing, and then book 4 is a regression, and you're like, but I thought we already did this.
They pulled him off the board, and it's just like, oh, come on, put him in the game, coach. Let's go, come on.
Yeah, he definitely.
I was so, and Steve, you were getting these texts from me.
Yeah.
The fucking Rhythm of War, man. Kaladin, they invade the tower. And I'm thinking, oh my god, this is gonna be dope as fuck. I'm going to see.
It's Die Hard. It should have been Die Hard.
I was gonna say Red Dawn, but Red Dawn or Die Hard, and it ended up being fucking Navani Scientist Book Club Science Fair Hour.
Yeah,
and
I agree with that. Also, I did think the Navani science stuff was fun, but
okay. My biggest problem with that was, hey. Stop working for the Nazi scientists, you fucking dipshit. Like, oh, I came up with this great scientific breakthrough. And then Raboniel walked in and took it and used it against all my friends. What did you think was going to happen, you fucking idiot? Like, God damn.
Yeah, Rhythm is definitely, I've only read it the one time. It's definitely my least favorite of the 4. But
I can't get over the like we have Spren that have to tell us what all the characters are feeling because it's not obvious. I'm not like, oh, here's the emotion that they're feeling. Oh, these Spren are around me now, and then it's like
quirky and it's fun.
It's stupid. It's
you just don't like fun.
And then what's even worse is I didn't get the middle of like Rhythm of War, but they're those people that are like singers or something. What do they call them?
The singers,
right? The Parshendi singer people, and it's like they have that too, but it's like they have to have it's a song of whatever emotion they're feeling, and I'm like, this is like the alt text of literature.
Yes, it's like if you were dealing with an autistic
text,
person,
man. Why is it a thing all of a sudden? I don't get it.
No, you know what it is?
It's literally just a Wheel of Time thing. That's the only place I have ever in my life seen alt text. And it's all these Wheel of Time people saying it's real. Alt text is really important. And if you're not alt texting, you're a bigot.
It's search engine optimization. That's all it is. They're
thinking it's some accessible.
Holy crap!
Am I behind?
They're not that smart. No, they think it's the accessibility thing. So if you're like blind or like deaf or something, and you have to.
You are so right.
If you post a picture on Twitter, you're supposed to write a verbal description of what it says, and it's advertised as so that blind people can understand what's happening in the picture if they have Twitter set to read.
But how
to them? But all it does is you put words underneath it describing what happens, and it's just search engine optimization. So
it used to be a quirk of like HTML programming that you would describe the picture in case it didn't load too, and then it was like by adding the words in the description, it would make it
the biggest virtue signal I've ever seen.
Yeah, and the only reason, so they do it for two reasons. First of all, they do it for virtue signaling because it's like, oh my god, how cool I am. But they do it because Amazon pushed them to do it, and Amazon pushed them to do it.
Are you sure though that they're doing it? Because they never I just look at the alt text and it's never like this isn't anything that's going to bring up search results.
Well, that's because they're stupid. Amazon did it assuming that they were going to be effective with it. But the entire purpose of it, the reason that Amazon pushed it was so that on stuff like paired analytics, stuff that looks for keywords when talking about how popular shows are, they wanted to juice the numbers for stuff like paired analytics that measure social media interaction. So that's all it is an attempt to make things appear more popular than they are.
It also just makes no sense. Like, obviously, I don't want to be insensitive, right? But if I was blind, I wouldn't watch movies or TV. I would just read audiobooks.
Yes.
Why?
Yeah, right now, absolutely.
If I was blind, what's the point?
Yeah, just
why would you watch TV?
Right. Car crash sound. Crash sound.
Yeah. Yeah, car.
Like they would know.
Yeah, you're probably so much better off. Like the stories are so much better too. Just listen to audiobooks.
I've been reading. How many books am I at this year? I think 50 something.
Nice.
I've just dived into books because movies suck.
Yeah.
And I'm doing it now. I'm not blind. I'm having a better time with books than this crap.
Yeah. And if you want a more movie experience, they do like fully narrated audiobooks with sound effects.
Yeah, they do. They do the drama versions. The graphic audios was
White Sands is like that. It's a little bit weird, but I can it was okay. Like it's yeah.
Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Anywho.
14, 15,
Steve,
16,
I'm
17.
fascinated by your son's choice of socks. Like what? What is going on with your footwear?
He has one. He's got one Mario mushroom sock on and one.
I love how it's like I can see wearing two different ones if they're like the same height, but that's like an anklet, bro.
No, he just goes into his drawer and finds two socks. He's like, all right, that'll work.
Okay,
it doesn't matter if they're the same size, shape, color.
I just choose ones that fit.
Just choose ones that fit. They don't have to match, right? No.
Okay, that actually makes sense, bro. Like that makes more sense than Wheel of Prime.
Yeah.
I'm at 36 books this year.
Nice.
Which is better than I've ever done my whole life.
I will say the Audible working sans Wi-Fi on planes is fucking incredible.
Yeah.
Like couldn't love it anymore. Couldn't do it without it.
Yep. Road trip.
Yeah, that's actually a question that I need to ask the delegation. Now that I have finished Cosmere, what is my next series?
Oh, dude, I've got so many suggestions. What do you want? What are you feeling like?
So the one that I've had suggested is potentially Malzahn.
That's a commitment. I have not done Malzahn yet. I have it, and I'm not ready for it yet because that's longer than the Wheel of Time.
How come you haven't been joining us in our
slightly? They are very, very close.
Silmarillion book club, babe. What's your excuse?
I've watched all of your Silmarillion book club streams.
We just finished the Lightbringer.
Lightbringer. I would highly recommend Lightbringer.
That was really fun.
Lightbringer?
It's really good.
Weeks.
Why do I know that name?
He also did the Dark Angel or something. What was his other series he did before?
Oh, I've seen these.
Yeah, they're if you're religious at all, it's really good.
Which one?
It's also good if you're not religious, but it's extra good if you are.
Yeah.
God damn it! There's the first thing I look up when I hit Brent Weeks is fucking Daniel Green.
Oh, fuck off.
He did some pretty good reviews on before he went crazy on the Lightbringer, but I think he took down one of them because it was too spoilery or something. And then
sounds like he had an unpopular opinion and got roasted.
I think so. But But anyways, you got the Lightbringer series. It's 5 books long. Really good.
If you want short, fun stuff, get into Discworld. I
love Discworld.
Cannot praise Discworld enough.
Okay.
Or another one, the Myth Adventures was recommended by a viewer. That's by Robert Aspen, I think. And they're really, really quick books, like really short, but they're very pun heavy, ridiculous fantasy, nonstop. Not a lot of character development. It's just it's really fun. I don't know.
Okay, so I'm going to I'm going to put a weird criteria piece in here.
Okay.
And that is going to be, do you have any books by sci-fi or fantasy authors who have killed people?
The author or the characters?
The author.
It's a weird question.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, okay.
I don't know enough about the authors.
Someone that you know of?
Well, Tolkien and Jordan were both people who'd served in wars.
Oh, I thought you were talking about murderers like parents.
I was like, that's very interesting.
I will take, if somebody murdered somebody and wrote a great sci-fi series while in prison, fucking awesome. Let's do it. Or if Kyle Rittenhouse wrote a banger of a sci-fi series, like
okay, I don't know. I'd have to look up the authors' lives. But I like sci-fi. I read some Isaac Asimov. Foundation is really fun.
Okay.
It's very different. But Foundation is good. I read I read Ender's Game when I was a kid by Card, and I never read the rest of the series, and I finished that this year. I went back, and that was phenomenal.
Those started good with Ender's Game, got great, and then got too weird.
You got a little weird at the end. Okay, so you already read those. I've mostly read this year. It was a lot of Terry Pratchett. And then
Patrick Ross was a veteran.
Here, okay. If you want a fun ride, I cannot recommend Gunmetal Gods enough.
Gunmetal Gods, I've heard of that.
Okay, yeah, probably from me. It's phenomenal, and it will change the writing style is the most unique thing I've ever seen. Like it's phenomenal. It's Middle Eastern setting, high fantasy, eldritch horror. It is incredible. There's 3 books out, and he's writing the 4th one right now, which is the end of the series. I've read the first 2, and I'm gonna finish the 3rd one this year.
Okay, I will say the cover art for these absolutely.
Oh, it's beautiful. It slaps.
Oh wow, that's pretty cool.
It is breakneck pace. Like the first couple chapters, I started reading it. I was like, okay, I see what this book is setting up. I'm getting a feel for what the rest of the book is going to be like. This is going to be interesting. And I settled down, ready to experience a political thriller. And then the next chapter, everything happened.
Okay.
And I was like, what's the rest of the book? But it just keeps going. Like, I didn't know you could do that with books. It's the way that Zamil Akhtar writes it's incredible. It's like, okay, here's an idea. Here's the payoff. Here's another idea. We're just going to keep going. It's nuts.
Okay. I will have to give this one a shot.
Yeah. Very, very cool. He's got he kind of has a trope like Brandon Sanderson. They call it the Sander Lanch at the end of his books. Everything just goes nuts. He has a trope now where the ending of the first act just goes crazy, and then the rest of the book is like picking up the pieces. It's
okay.
It's cool. That one's really fun.
All right, I will. I'll have to give that a shot.
It's Gunmetal Gods, Conqueror's Blood, and then Elder Epic. I don't know what the fourth book is called, but he's a super cool guy too, and he follows me on Twitter.
Oh, badass!
He likes all my tweets.
Okay.
He's very very indies, very small, and I'm shocked that more people don't know him. But man, he's really, really good.
All right, I'll be honest. Generally, when I see a moon and star flag in the bio, I move on. But if you recommend it, I'll give it a shot.
It's the most shocking, different thing I've ever read.
You know what? I will take different at this point. I will.
Right?
Yeah, I'll. Much in the reason that I went to go see that godforsaken The Creator movie.
Trying something different at this point, like something that at least makes your mind work, and you're not going, "Why does none of this make sense?"
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
At least if you're trying something new, if you're trying something new and it misses a little bit, you're like, "All right, you're trying. I get what you're doing."
Right.
And then but like if you're doing the same old thing, it's just like, what the fuck?
If you, I didn't read these this year, but I've got a lot of other suggestions. If you want something to just completely destroy your mental health, you should read
Watch The Wheel of Time.
Joe Abercrombie.
Yep, I've read a bunch of Joe Abercrombie.
Yeah, okay, you right?
Yeah,
like I couldn't function after finishing the first Law trilogy for like a month.
What was Joel Abercrombie? What did he write?
First Law, The Blade itself.
Yep.
Man, the ending of that series just wrecked me.
I feel like I tried to read that or something, and it just kind of lost me. Like it's totally grimdark, right?
Yes, he invented grimdark, basically.
Yeah, I was like, when they started talking, like I'm a very like very snobbish in my literary taste, and I was looking at like that, and I think I remember going through, and it's like they're just speaking like modern. Every other word is discussing, and I'm like, okay,
it's worth it though.
Yeah, maybe. I was looking for something good, and I think after reading, I just finished Wheel of Time, and I'm like, I want to read fantasy because I haven't read a lot of that, and I think I should have probably just read like Lord of the Rings or something, but that was not that. And everyone's like, "Oh, you like Game of Thrones a lot? You like that?" And I was just like, "Okay, I don't know, maybe."
So, have you read? If you like quick, snappy, and fun, have you read The Grim Bastards?
That's not Gentlemen Bastards.
No, that is
no.
So it is. This is going to sound absolutely retarded.
What the fuck? What is it like? Cover art?
No,
did Trip give you that?
Most book pitches do sound terrible.
What is it? It's not.
Like someone tried to explain Mistborn to me. Oh, they eat a bunch of metals, and then you have a metal in your belly. Then you could do magic if you burn it.
No, it really is that bad and silly. It is.
I'm sorry,
seriously.
Not the Grim Bastards, the Gray Bastards. So somebody wrote what functionally is.
I've seen the cover.
Sons of Anarchy fan fiction, but they replaced bikers with orcs and motorcycles with war pigs.
That's pretty great, actually. I've never seen Sons of Anarchy, but I've heard it's really good.
And what's funny is, so Sons of Anarchy is functionally Shakespeare fan fiction. So somebody took Hamlet, and made everybody
did a biker gang Hamlet.
Yes, made everybody biker gangs. So then somebody took a fan fiction of Hamlet and wrote another fan fiction where everybody's orcs.
Huh.
Oh my god, that's funny.
It is.
Is there just one book?
There's two now. The first one is really good. The second one is all right. It's a spin-off of the girl love interest.
I've seen the cover art before. That's so.
Yeah, it's
crossed my path.
It's pretty amusing. Not gonna lie. Like I'm not going to say it's good, but I had fun with it.
Fun. Have you read The Band? That one's kind of fun. It's a very lighthearted fantasy. The world building is like non-existent. It's kind of just like D&D, but not, but the what makes it fun is the premise of the book is it's basically the Blues Brothers.
Okay.
They're getting the band back together for an adventure.
That sounds.
You'd have to put novel on there, babe.
That one's really fun. The sequel is one of the worst books I've ever read.
Oh no!
I loved The Band and I hated the second book. It just everything that was good about it. It was terrible. It tried to be serious, and the first book wasn't.
So it's is it Kings of the Wild?
Kings of the Wild. Yeah.
Okay.
It's a rock band getting back together, but they're an adventuring party. It's fantastic.
Yeah, I've seen that. I've seen that recommended.
Oh, wow. Okay, so I'm just going to say, I can tell purely based on the cover, something went very, very wrong with the Blood Rose. So we start out with the boys are back in town, and then it immediately goes to girls just want to have fun.
Yeah. Well, it skips 10 years, so it's the next generation of music, which wasn't as good as the 80s. So
gotcha.
I totally believe you based on purely looking at the two covers of these books.
Loved the first one, hated the second one. It's the weirdest experience I've ever had.
I don't know. I felt that way pretty much about Percy Jackson. Like the first series is really good, and then you get to fucking like anything after that, or not, maybe not the next set with Percy, but the Egyptian ones and the Norse ones, and I'm just like, what the fuck happened to you, dude?
One that a lot of people maybe don't know about as much is the Kingmaker Kingbreaker. It's a duology. It's the Innocent Mage and the Awakened Mage. That one is good if you don't like a lot of action. It's a political fantasy. It's pretty much all politics, but it's very interesting.
Is that the one by Margaret Crames and Margaret Weiss and Robert Crames, or by Aaron Fleming?
No,
or Caitlin Bellamy.
It's look up the Innocent Mage.
The Innocent Mage.
It's Karen Miller. That's what it is. It's called Kingmaker Kingbreaker is the series. Yeah.
Okay, either I've read this or there are several of these series with extraordinarily similar cover art.
It's a green guy.
Yeah,
but flowing robes.
Isn't there it's like Assassin's Apprentice or something has?
Oh no, that's different. That's That's who is that?
Robin Hobb.
Robin
That's
Hobb.
actually not the one that I'm.
Oh, that's not like YA stuff, right? It's just all like YA.
Yeah. There are like sequels to these books or spin-offs that I have not read.
Okay.
Have a great night, Mark Clark.
Good night, Mark.
Sorry, we're probably boring.
We're basically done. Now we're just talking to each other.
Yes.
The show's over. You can leave. We're just talking about books now.
Yeah.
Steve, it's time for you to read Elric.
Oh
Elric?
yeah, I gotta read that. We
Elric.
got those
What's
at
on my
the
list?
bookstore, the used bookstore.
How many are there? What are they?
Elric of Melniboné. It's like I'm
Dark
going to say there's like
Elves.
8 books, but what you have to understand about them is they're like 175 pages.
They remind me of the
they
kind
were
of books you get from
published
the
in magazines,
Fairy
weren't they?
series.
There were pulps, I know. But yeah, to say that if you liked The Witcher, you will love Elric, because The Witcher is unapologetically stolen from Elric.
Yes. Elric of Melnborn. it's not originally in English, right? It's a translation.
No, it's originally in English. The Witcher was originally in Polish.
Okay, that's how I'm getting mixed up. Yes, I've had those on my need to read list for a while.
Once you read
Michael Moorcock.
Yep. Once you read that series, you will understand that there is nothing new in fantasy that has been published in the last 50 years.
Oh yeah, no, that's fine. I understand that.
Okay, yeah, it looks like what book one of is there 3 of them?
There's like 8 of them, but unfortunately they're so short. They've been collected like a bunch of different ways.
Well, it looks like I'm just looking at the audiobooks because it looks like they have.
Oh, I didn't even think
volume 1, 2, and 3. So I don't know if they've smashed a bunch of books together to.
They probably did.
Elric Saga. I mean, they're calling it the Elric Saga part 1, 2, and 3. So the White Wolf.
Isn't that how we found that? Conan books are fun. Oh, you know what? If you guys like Robin Jordan and Conan books, you should read Warrior the Alatai. That's a really good book. And it's really short and it's really pulpy and fun. And then there's a bunch of like things that went on to later be in Wheel of Time.
That's Robert Jordan's book.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, that's on my list of things to read eventually. Is that so he did stuff like for a series before he did his own stuff, right? Like he was
he
did Conan some Conan stuff.
He did Conan, right? And then he's like, I want to do this. I want to make my own thing.
Yeah, he also wrote some historical novels, and I'm pretty excited because I found one of them at the used bookstore.
There's also apparently anywhere between 1 and 3 books that he's written under a pen name that Harriet has hinted will be released upon her death. That we'll find out that there are 3 Robert Jordan books that nobody knows of.
So they were a pen name, but they were never released. So it's not a book that already exists. Hey, turns out it was Robert Jordan.
Yeah. So he wrote a bunch of books. There's like 4 or 5 Robert Jordan pen names of books that have been released.
Wow.
And apparently there's like 3 of them that nobody knows. She just basically said, when she dies, she's,
so they're not unreleased books.
No, they've already been released. It's going to be, these books have been out there for 40 years.
They just
Yeah, you're going to find out when I die that, these 3 books were. It's anywhere between 1 and 3, but he actually has written under such a wide variety of genres. Like, for all we know, one of them could be a cookbook. Like, it's
probably a romance book because isn't that how he met Harriet or something? Is that like he was looking for like historical romance?
No, they met. She found his Wheel of Time. That's how they met.
Yeah, she was an editor at Tor.
Yeah,
I think she was an editor at Tor, and he was writing for Tor, and she got assigned to his portfolio, and that's how they met.
The Wheel of Time wouldn't exist without her. She's the one that found it.
Did she find it?
She pushed the first book.
Oh, I didn't know that. I thought
she found it. Well, I mean, he was doing other stuff, right? But then he started doing his own series.
Okay.
He picked up book 1 and said, "Oh, this book's so good, I want to bang this guy."
What a fucking chat.
That happened.
Yo.
Okay, so Steve, now that I'm looking at this, the Elric of Melniboné Volume 1 is Elric, Fortress of the Pearl, Sailor on the Seas of Fate, and The Weird of the White Wolf, which is, I think, books 1, 2, 5, and 6.
Okay. Yeah, because like I read the audiobook thing is like this is the preferred order or something. It's like okay. So I don't know.
Okay.
I don't have much time to sit down and read, so I get everything in audio form. So
yeah,
I mean, if I can get it all,
I get you.
Yeah. So according to Wikipedia, the first 5 novelettes were collected in Stealer of Souls, which I think is also the same as Stormbringer. No, the first 4 was Stormbringer.
Because Audible has them broken down into you got Elric of Melbourne Volume 1, which looks like it's 3 books, like he said, or actually looks like it's 4. Elric of Melbourne, Fortress of Pearl, Sailor of the Seas of Fate and the Weird Wolf, the Weird of White Wolf, and then Volume 2 is what? Volume 2 it doesn't list what it is. That's why it gets confusing.
Should be Vanishing Tower, of the
It
Rose,
says,
Bane of the Black Sword, and Stormbringer.
So it says Eric the Brood. Okay, so Eric is brooding, dying a moment after defeating Notorious Epic. It doesn't say. Yeah, this. So I don't know why this one doesn't say what's actually in it. It just says it's like why doesn't this one say it's in it? What's in it? It's very weird. Maybe there's some comments that say what's in it. It doesn't say which books are actually in this.
Audible's doing their 2-for-1 credit thing right now, and there's a couple I'm interested in.
Oh, here you go. Contains Vanishing Tower, Revenge of the Rose, The Bane of the Black Sword, and Stormbringer.
Yep. So that's the. Sorry, it's bizarre. There is no less than 7 correct ways to read the series.
I'll just get the audiobooks. Like, is it worth getting the? What about the Citadel of Forgotten Myths thing? It looks like a prequel.
I don't think I've ever read Citadel of Forgotten Myths.
Okay, I love you guys, but I did a book stream earlier and I have not been feeling well, so I am going to head out.
Fair. We're almost at 4 hours, so
Really quickly, have you guys read the Deathgate cycle?
No, I haven't actually read much, to be honest. Like I haven't read a lot of
anything
stuff.
by Tad Williams. There's
I have read Tad Williams. I've read the Dragon Bone Chair series, which it's not bad. There is kind of it gets. I'd have to say with that, like when stuff is happening and there's action, like I think the books are really good, and I think I found value in reading them because that book was really I guess kind of fundamental for kind of setting up realistic fantasy where it was more like of a historical thing, and it's very based on, it's very like there isn't a bunch of really crazy magic or anything like that. It's a lot of the world is kind of based on like there's a church and stuff like that. It's kind of strange, but like the books, it's phone book fantasy, and there are some parts that just really drag on when they're talking about like they're describing places. But I did enjoy it because you could obviously see a lot of like how his novels really influence like George R. R. Martin and like even the Wheel of Time stuff, and I enjoyed them for that. And then when stuff happens, it's really exciting to read. But there was a lot of slogging in like the first couple of books. I haven't read the 3rd book yet, but I need to finish it.
Yeah, there's one of his books is on the Audible sale right now. I'm debating.
I haven't read anything else by him.
Audible sale, huh?
They do every once in a while. They do 2 books for 1 credit, but they always put like a first book in a series so that you have to buy the rest. You know.
So Al Dan suggested, what is it? He said I forgot about is it like Lycanis series? It's the Shadow of What Was Lost.
I have that one. I haven't gotten to it yet, but I got that one in a 2-for-1 sale.
Oh man, did I miss the 2-for-1?
That was at the beginning of the year.
I'll be honest. The thing about the 2-for-1 sale is, luckily Sanderson's books are so fucking long. It takes me the entire month to get through them. Like, 55 hours takes me like.
Yeah, I still got 4 credits saved up, so I got the first Elric audiobook, so I'll take a look at work.
That's one that I'm going to be very curious to hear the orator, because if the orator could really do kind of like a deep, almost horror-esque sound, like I could see that being really good. But if it's sort of bland, I could see it being very, very bad.
Yeah,
because Elric isn't a good guy, so you kind of need him to be scary.
Which one did you get? Elric of Melbourne?
Yeah, the first one. Yeah, I got the audiobook volume 1. Figured might as well just start there.
Why is Neil Gaiman attached to it?
I don't know. That's terrifying. Why is Neil Gaiman attached to it?
It says it's by Michael Moorcock and Neil Gaiman. It's a foreword. He wrote a foreword, and so it's. Well, I'll get that one too. We could talk about it.
There you go.
I find that to be shocking because I strongly suspect Michael Moorcock would not like Neil Gaiman at all.
Yeah, well, I've read some books that were written by people that Neil Gaiman wrote like intros for, so I don't know.
Wait, Elric of Melbourne is books 1 through 3 and book 8.
And 8, yeah.
Yes, the greatest Stormbringer.
Yeah.
Yes, but what you have to understand is if you're counting the core saga and not the expanded saga, it's books 1 through 3 and book 6.
I don't what.
Don't try to make sense of it. Just make a list.
I'm just gonna listen. I'm just gonna listen to it how they present it and go right.
There's so many gaps on Audible too, though.
All right, I'll get it. We'll talk about it.
We can have a book stream some other time.
Cool. Okay.
All right, boys.
Bye.
All right, you guys have a great night.
Thanks for tuning in. Make sure you check out all the perspective channels. Lady Billfire's got her own with some chickens and also some Cimmerillions.
Yeah, I've been doing like Wheel of Time reviews too. I'm just kind of like running late with that stuff because I'm in the Master Gardening program here, and that is a 2-month intensive class. There's a lot of writing and reading and video watching and practical classes I have to take.
Well, if one of us gets rich, then the plan is to produce our own version of the Wheel of Time, and you can be the screenwriter.
Sweet. Like, let's go. I know that's one project I think I've always wanted to do was kind of outline like the kind of like plot like lines you could do. But yeah, hopefully I need
Ozzy, I just need a sec to get some food and I'll boot up the Mayo stream, okay? I promise. I'm not gonna let you down.
Wait.
Well, check out Puff of the Dragon. He's gonna eat some mayonnaise on his own channel. And if you want to watch 5 hours of us breaking down episode 8 of the Wheel of Time season 2.
That was insane.
That's on the White Cloaks after show. And it was painful.
Those good times, guys.
All right, thanks for coming on. I love talking to you guys.
Yeah, you guys have a great night.
Cool.
Of course.
Yeah. Bye.
Good night.
Good night.
And now it is time to say goodbye.
We had a great conversation.
It's been fun. But all good things must come to an end, and the goodest ending I can think of is
right now, this moment, this night.
So I guess we just say goodbye.
So, goodbye.
Toodaloo. Au revoir. Auf Wiedersehen. Ciao. Ding dao day. But come back next week for more outrageous bloopers.
This is the end.
Well, there's only one thing left to do.
I'm gonna go home and sleep with my wife.